What's going on, people? My name is Alan. Welcome to another In Motion Football live stream today as Travis Kelsey catches the pass for like 25 yards. We have another watch along. We have a Monday Night Football watch along because we couldn't have a Sunday Night Football watch along because the game would just ran too goddamn late because of Mother Nature. It worked out because I got a chance to do a watch along for the entire Raptors preseason game. So I'm not that mad. But we couldn't talk about the week's football last night. We couldn't watch that game, which would have been a tough watch. But we get to watch this instead. So you got Chiefs and Saints. You got I think I'm joining this game about 9 minutes left in the first. I missed the Saints' entire first drive. And I'm watching the Chiefs drive the ball here on their first drive. I need 19 points from Mahomes in fantasy standard scoring. So that's what my rooting interest is today. Couldn't care less about who wins the game, but I am trying to see Mahomes do numbers in fantasy. But yeah, shout out to everybody that's watching this. I'm going to get our scoreboard up. And we're going to get to enjoying this game. Kareem Hunt up the middle on 2nd and 4 for the first down. That information is so small. Get it as big as possible on the screen. Yeah, that's good enough. Well, we got 1st and goal for the Chiefs now. 7 minutes to go in the first. For those of you who aren't familiar with how this works, we will be getting into recaps of every game that happened during the weekend over each commercial break or any stoppage in the game. And if we run out of games to talk about and the game gets not interesting, we will predict the entire season as a community. Mahomes hands it to Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt gets into the end zone, and I am upset because that could have been a passing touchdown for Mahomes, but it's not. Hope the Saints can score the football so that Mahomes doesn't just leave here with 1 to 2 touchdowns. I need 3 passing touchdowns for fantasy purposes. Like I said, shout out to everybody that's in here so far. We are going to have a good stream, I think. Bucker knocks down the extra point. 7-0 Chiefs. 6:34 left to go in the first quarter. Chiefs looking to be the second 5-0 team in the league, joining the Minnesota Vikings. Saints fighting to stay above 500 because they're 2-2. What happened? Oh yeah, so the Falcons kept the division tight, so the Saints aren't at risk of going 2 games behind Tampa Bay. So that's good for their sake. But yeah, we'll get into our first game. On Thursday Night Football, we watched No, this wasn't Thursday. Why the hell did I say that? On Sunday Morning Football, we had Jets and Vikings. We had the first game from London this year. It was Sam Darnold against his former team. It was it was Aaron Rodgers against, what was that matchup? I lied. There may not have been a matchup. Well, the matchup was Aaron Rodgers and Brian Flores, and Brian Flores seemingly got the better of Aaron Rodgers there. But of course, this was a game that I didn't see a whole lot of. Too early in the morning for me. But what's going on, Jared Brown? Jared Brown, while we're here, did you want to get to Bills and Texans? We could do that first because I didn't really get too deep into Vikings Jets. We can do the Bills Texans game if you want. Hell yeah, let's do it. Okay, so Bills Texans. Texans win it on a 59-yard field goal. At the end of the game, the shocking thing for me is how the Bills offense fared. Josh Allen was 9 for 30? Let me see if I got that stat right. I believe he was 9 for 30. Where is this box score? Yeah, so 9 for 30 is ridiculous when you think about it. Now, an important context to think about is that it seems like he got concussed in the middle of the game. So whatever UNC is supposed to be at the game spotting these things, completely missed that. The Bills ended up losing anyways, but that's something to monitor, something to watch. Definitely a contributing factor to the game. Nico Collins also got hurt, and after scoring a long touchdown, left the game. So injuries on both sides. As for what we learned, the Texans were able to run the ball reasonably with Cam Akers. He had 9 for 42. But that was a test for Buffalo. The way Baltimore did Buffalo's run defense, it was going to be something to watch to see how the Texans fared. Now, Ogunbowale struggled, but that's Ogunbowale. That's a special teams player. Cam Akers was efficient on the ground. And I think that was important for the Texans because you knew their passing attack was going to flourish. CJ Stroud was really efficient in terms of yardage and completions and whatnot. But yeah, I think the big thing is that the Texans could get yards with Cam Akers on the ground when they needed it. The defense did a great job. Again, Josh Allen was concussed. I think from the Bills standpoint, you're really starting to see that it's a one-man show. And they need things firing on all cylinders for them to be successful. And that puts them in a really tough position because, again, your one-man show had a struggle today or that day. And things kind of fell apart for them offensively because on the ground, they only got, from running backs, they got 97 yards on 23 carries. That's not going to carry you when your quarterback only has 9 completions. When your quarterback has 9 completions, you need at least 100 rushing yards. And they're not really a team that can bank on that. So that kind of puts them in a tough position. Keon Coleman only had 1 catch, of course. There was only 9 completions in the game. But I think for Houston's standpoint, again, an interesting thing to think about is that they're just consistently in close games. Beat Buffalo by 3, beat Jacksonville by 4, beat the Bears by 6, beat the Colts by 2. So they're winning these close games. Obviously, their loss was a blowout to Minnesota. Derek Carr takes a shot. He has a receiver. He missed him. He missed 84, whoever the hell that is. It would have had to have been a perfectly placed ball along the sideline because the safety was lurking. It couldn't be in the middle of the field. But he had a guy. We'll have 3rd and 7 now. Derek Carr, former Raider, obviously a lot of experience playing in this stadium. But yeah, so the Texans, we're still looking for that big performance that makes you go, you know what? That's the Houston Texans team of last year. We haven't seen it yet. That's something I kind of brought up a couple weeks ago of how we look at the Texans as this maybe juggernaut. Oh, come on, Derek Carr. Now, first of all, if that's the play design and that's the first option, that's going nowhere in the first place. That's horrible. But even if it's not, like, even if Carr just decided to check to that, he bumped into Olave. The guy who caught the ball ran into Olave, tipped in. And then you put the ball behind him, which makes him slow his momentum up to catch it. He's always going to get tackled there. But yeah, we're still waiting for that performance from Houston. For Buffalo, really just a jarring reminder that the Bills are just kind of still the Bills. Just because now there's this renewed commitment to running the ball, it doesn't change the fact that their main issues are still their main issues. The defense is not what it was at its peak, and the offense is really reliant on Josh Allen. So I think that game confirmed a lot of what we already thought about Buffalo, and then it reiterated kind of the observation I made about Houston that they're not really smacking teams yet. They're starting out pretty slow. They've won every game by less than 1 score. And the one game they lost by like 27. So we're still waiting for Houston to look like Houston. They haven't had Joe Mixon for most of these games, so maybe that's a problem. Not maybe that's a problem. That's probably a big problem. But when they get Joe Mixon back, we'll see what happens. What's good, my guy Leon? I think Patriots fans are checking the calendar and it says May. I think you guys have turned the calendar to May. It looks like Brissett's gonna get benched. What do you think of that? Because I think it's pretty confusing to me. I'll be real. I don't understand it. But I'll let the Patriots fans speak on it first. Yeah, oddly enough, I got a Texans fan and a Patriots fan in the chat right now. They're gonna play each other, and we're gonna get to see May for the first time. We're gonna get to see Houston not full strength because I don't think they'll have Nico Collins. Oddly enough, even if Nico Collins is healthy, given that he has a hamstring injury, I think you rest him this week. You don't need Nico Collins against the Patriots. I agree. I think it's very early to put him in. I think it's so early to put Drake May in. One, look at the offensive line. They lost David Andrews. They're not protecting Brissett. Look at the weapons. I actually like some of their younger receivers, but they need time. The running back situation, when Ramondre's not fumbling, he's good. But again, he doesn't have a line in front of him. So look at the team. Look at the schedule. Like Houston's defense, DeMeco Ryans' defense is not the defense I think you start a rookie quarterback against. And the thing is, if you're gonna play him now, I struggle to see what change. Like, what is present now that wasn't present earlier? Like, do you just think that Drake May needed a few weeks for him personally? Because there's nothing that changed for the Patriots that would suggest that, you know what, this is why we needed to sit him for 5 weeks, because our rookie receivers are rolling and now we think he has people to throw to, or our offensive line has proven that they can block, so that's why we're doing it, or we were waiting, we were kind of biding our time for a tough part of his schedule, and now we have a real soft team to go against. That's when we're starting him. It just doesn't make sense. Unless they really thought that, you know what, Drake May is so cold, it's just about him. Once he figures certain things out individually, we'll play him. If that's the train of thought, maybe, again, like that could be based on things that I'm not able to see, and it could make sense. But aside from that, I'm so confused. A screen to Kareem Hunt doesn't work because Kareem Hunt was on the ground when he threw the ball. Oh, Jared Brown, I think you said yesterday that you were at the Dodgers game. Now you're going to the Patriots game. This guy is a globe trotter. This guy lives an amazing life, people. I wanted him to start around December. I agree. That's a good time. And again, I think it would give time for the receivers to kind of settle in, because they have two rookies, right? Polk and Baker. Let them kind of establish themselves, then put May in. Yeah, I think it's a bad idea to put him against the Texans defense as well. Exactly my point, Leon. Exactly my point. You get it. If anything, it only got worse because now David Andrews is out for the year. It's gonna make the Patriots more interesting to watch for neutrals and for Patriots fans. Like, it's good fan service, but I don't think smart for the team, and that's my concern. Flags before the snap. Shout out to everybody tapped in. There's 7 people watching right now. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. 2 very important forms of engagement for the growth of a YouTube channel. Couldn't make the Sunday Night Football stream that's supposed to be the staple of this channel. Couldn't make it yesterday because the game got delayed. Waiting for King in the chat because he was at the game. Pat's O-line has been horrendous for Brissett, and he's a vet. I mean, maybe they're looking at it like May is more mobile than Brissett, and maybe the offense could run better with a more mobile quarterback because literally the Patriots line requires that. Oh shit. Mahomes had Kelsey on a 3rd and 12. He just lost his footing before he threw the ball. The turf got him. The Buffalo Wild Wings commercial from back in the day where somebody's watching the game and activating the sprinklers at the right time to trip a player up, that just happened with Mahomes on his own field. Damn. The only good part about the pass is the defense. Yo, Christian Gonzalez is amazing. A couple of their pass rushers are balling. They got some solid pieces elsewhere. Jabril Peppers got caught in a madness this morning. That was wild to see. It would have given them time for the OC and the offense to figure out what works for the first time OC. Oh yeah, that's a good point too. There's going to be a lot of inexperience for the Patriots offense. Like, I think when it comes to betting now, if you're a gambler, any given week, right, go to the Patriots odds, like for their offense, close your eyes, and then pick a random player and just bet their under, and you're probably going to do fine. It's Russian roulette with the Patriots unders. There'll probably be one guy that hits his over. It's tough out here. What's the Patriot? Let me look at the Patriots schedule as well. The Patriots go. They play Houston, Jacksonville. Oh, Jacksonville was the game. That they should just play Brissett this week and play May against Jacksonville. I think that makes all the sense in the world. I'd like that a lot. And then Jets afterwards. Then Titans, Bears, Rams, Dolphins. You know what's interesting? There's a point at. I think there's a point week 11. This is the sweet spot, right? Because you just play the Bears. The Bears have a good defense, right? It is what it is. After that, you got Rams manageable, Dolphins manageable, Colts, that defense is shaky, Cardinals, that defense is shaky, Bills, shaky, Chargers, respectable, and then Bills again. So the stretch from week 11 onwards, I think that slate is perfect for May. The problem between now and then is you get Titans, Jets, and Texans. Sorry, Bears, Jets, and Texans. Titans, you could argue, like, their defense isn't great, but it's a good defense. Like, it'll be tough for May with his offensive line and his weapons. Yeah, 4 of the next 5 defenses he goes against, I think, are poor matchups for the Patriots. The Jaguars is the only good one. But my Texans need to be better on the offensive side. I think Joe Mixon will help. I think Joe Mixon will definitely help. And if you guys can keep him healthy, you guys will be in a much better position. Remember something to keep in mind, right? When they had Joe Mixon healthy in week 1, they gave him like 30 carries. I don't think they trusted another running back enough to give him 30 carries the way they did with Mixon. And then even in week 2 against the Bears, when he got hurt, I think he got crazy touches too. He had 12 touches, 9 carries, and 3 catches, and he was out when, like, I think he got hurt middle of the third quarter. So he was probably on track to get about 18, 19 touches. They don't trust any of their other running backs to give them touches like that. So I also think with Houston, when they get Joe Mixon back, they'll be more of a running team, and that benefits everybody. Something to keep in mind with Houston is that throughout last year, we have not yet seen this team with a dominant running back. And while Joe Mixon is not necessarily like a Saquon Barkley or Christian McCaffrey, he can establish a really damn good running game in the right scheme. And I think the Texans is the right scheme. That's why I didn't mind him having all season for the last couple games of the year. I think the bigger issue, here's the thing. I mean, I don't know. It's a situation where you have to factor a lot of different things, and the offensive line and the receivers are a big problem for me. Like, I think they could do this with a different team a lot easier, but this is not the right setup. That being said, I don't hate, like, in terms of the Patriots coaching staff, I don't hate like a lot of the decisions they've made. I think like a lot of, even if you look at the results, a lot of decent stuff. And I do like, I am okay with the fact that they've lost a lot of games because I don't like the roster that much. But in terms of how they fared in these games, like, again, keep their team in mind, right? Obviously, beating the Bengals is solid. Taking the Seahawks to overtime, solid. You lose to the Jets and Niners, fair enough, right? You could argue the Jets, maybe that was worse than you would expect, but even still, their offense was the problem. Like, they gave up 24 points. You're only 1 touchdown away from that being like a great performance, right? Holding the Jets to 17. Niners, you get clapped. It is what it is, right? That can happen. Dolphins held them in check. Even though they have Huntley, you held them in check. But yeah, the Saints are in 3rd and 13. I don't think the Saints offense has managed to muster up anything so far. They got 13 passing yards and about 25 rushing yards, averaging 5 yards a carry. But yeah, Carr is 3 for 6, 1 pick, 13 yards. Can't get anything going in the air. Carr takes another shot down the field, throwing into triple coverage against Rashid Shaheed. One could argue that there's offensive pass interference. Shaheed is begging for a call. I feel like he took a defender out. But also, this is what you get for throwing into triple coverage there, Carr. 3rd and 13. And he said, you know what? I'm going to punt this with my arm. I mean, look at where the ball lands and look at where the defender is. You could argue Shaheed stopped an interception from happening there. It's play calling and OL. See, that's fair because the thing I might be missing as a non-Patriots fan is I might be missing the fact that like the receivers are actually hooping, but the ball's not getting to them because of the offensive line not giving the quarterback time. Because like I said, I like Polk, I like Baker. Who else do they have? They have Osborne, right? And then there's a 4th receiver. They have Bourne, Osborne, and Bourne, I think. Let me see. Patriots, Ourlads. Ourlads is the website I use for depth charts. They keep them really up to date. Yeah, Bourne and Osborne. Who plays, by the way? Like, how does that shit? Oh, yeah, and they have Pop Douglas. Yeah, see, the receivers are, there's something there. Who's the Patriots offensive line coach they had during the dynasty? They need to go call him back. Skarnekia, or I forget what his name is. Yeah, they need to call him up and give him a bag immediately. With the swiftness. Oh shit. Okay, hold on. Cowboys Lions next week will be a decent game. Nah, he's ancient. Oh, he's ancient. He's washed. Fair enough. Fair enough. Makes sense. Okay, we're gonna get into another game. May as well while we're at this conversation. Dolphins Patriots. So I think the Dolphins again. I'm surprised. Okay, obviously when we saw this game on the schedule, we're like, this is the worst game of the year. They could put this game on Tubi. You know how they joke in the NBA that certain playoff games in the Eastern Conference should be put on NBA TV. Nah, this game could have been on Tubi. He needs to enjoy retirement. Oh, it's an age thing. Okay, fair enough. But yeah, I think Ramondre Stevenson was hooping in this game. Let me see. But I think the bigger takeaway here is it seems like Huntley functioned a little bit better in this offense. My bigger concern with Miami was the fact that I don't think they adjusted their offense for Huntley at all when they played Tennessee. And I think he really, really struggled because he's just not the kind of quarterback that you want for this system. Patriots defense, obviously respectable. I think I don't think Miami changed anything from what I saw, but he just seemed a little bit more used to or a little bit more accustomed to what his responsibilities are in that offense. And the fact that he was able to pass for 94 yards, again, better than I expected. Because what did he do against Tennessee? Game log. Yeah, see, 96 passing yards against Tennessee. To go from that to 194 against the Patriots, that's progress for Miami. And they're 2-3. I don't know when they're going to get Tua back, but they needed this win in the worst way. Let me look at the rest of their schedule, see what they see. Because I think they said, wait, maybe like week 8 weeks for Tua. So he's missed 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's say he misses 4 more games. You play the Colts, Cardinals, Bills, and Rams. If you can find a way to get 2 more games and you're just 1 game under 500 when Tua comes back, That's at least a manageable situation. But for their sake, yeah, they needed this win. I was pretty worried for them after what they did against Tennessee, but they took some steps forward offensively, so that's good. Um, and then in terms of the other side of the ball, again, a lot of what I talked about when we talked about Drake May is like I would just be restating it with the Patriots, but yeah, that offensive line is getting their quarterback killed. Only 2 sacks, but again, the passing attack for the Patriots is struggling because of the offensive line. Like I said, I saw here Ramondre made the most of his carries. Even Gibson had a good day. Yo, hold on, the Patriots had 18 carries for over 140 yards. I didn't know it was like that. But shit, maybe they're gonna run the hell out of the ball with May. Who knows? Can you imagine make May they start May and they run like a read option offense? And that's the whole purpose. You know, they're just gonna run the shit out of the ball, let the quarterback keep it every now and then, play the numbers game in the box. Who knows? But yeah, just the optimism for the Patriots for me is just they're gonna be worth checking for a quarter here and there now that May is playing, because I think the May's ceiling is ridiculous. Like I really like him as a prospect so much, so I'm excited to see that. But yeah, the Chiefs are driving again. Big up, Joel. We're not previewing next week's games, so I won't say anything. But I think it'll be fun to talk about Eagles Browns on Thursday. Kareem Hunt gets the handoff, a lot of space, well blocked up run for Kareem Hunt, picks up about 9-10 yards. We're at the end of the first quarter. That's why I said play calling was a problem. Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. And then I take it that if the Patriots line looks so bad, he's probably also not scheming up quick passes. Because oddly enough, with a guy like Pop Douglas, I feel like you should be able to scheme up some quick passes to really help the offensive line out. Stop and give the ball to Brissett to make a play. Yeah, were they asking him to hold on to the ball too to let things develop down the field? Because you have Pop Douglas, Osborne, and oh yeah, that was the other thing I wanted to ask. What is the like? Who are the top 3 receivers that get snaps? I didn't know today's stream would be a Patriots deep dive, but here we are, people. I mean, that's the thing. That was a part of the thing that happened when they started May, is that they genuinely became more interesting. Shout out to everybody tapped in to the live stream right now. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. This is a very much an interactive live stream. We are recapping games during the commercial breaks. We were talking about Dolphins Patriots. Our O line wasn't that bad. Okay, interesting. We learned something new. So we'll go back in the order. Jets Vikings. The point I wanted to make about this game. Yeah, the Jets defense I don't think has looked imposing for a while now. I think not enough people are talking about that. So you gave up 23 to Minnesota, who they cooled off, but Minnesota did look hot at some point. You let the Broncos score 10, which at the time I think a lot of people like 10 points in the modern NFL is good. What did Bo Nix do? That still felt like it was actually no, I lied. But they held Bo Nix to 60 yards. I can't hate. But yeah, I thought Will Levis had an easier time than I would have expected. And then obviously the Niners did numbers in week 1. So their good performances were against the Patriots and the Broncos, right? I don't think people will give them a lot of ratings for that. I think yeah, the Jets defense, they're not really looking like what they should look like. You have a defensive head coach. You have Robert Saleh has been in charge of some really good defenses in San Francisco and New York. This is a guy with a really strong resume of coaching up a defense, a team that's put a lot of resources into a defense, and it really doesn't look like that. And that's always a concern of mine. The game is back, 2nd and 2, so I'll get back into this in a second. Play action from Mahomes. Oh shit! The Saints almost get home. He makes the guy miss. Dumps it to Kareem Hunt. House this. House this. Damn. They get to the 11. Okay, so my concern with defensive head coaches when your defense is shit is part of what you give up when you hire a defensive head coach is the opportunity to have an offensive, like to have stability with your offensive coaching staff. Because when you have an offensive coordinator as your lead offensive mind, here's the issue is that whenever that guy's really good, he's gonna get a head coaching job. If the guy's really bad, you have to fire him. The only way you get stability is through mediocrity. So that's just objectively a bad situation to be in offensively in an offensive league. Quick pass to Mecole Hardman gets 5 yards. So the only reason to put yourself in that compromised situation with your offensive coaching staff is if your defensive head coach is a great defensive coach and a great leader and a great like CEO of just the whole or the whole team, right? That's what you kind of have to have, in my opinion. So I'm pretty critical of Buffalo State right now for that same reason. I think you're giving up a lot from a coaching standpoint by having a defensive head coach and an average defense, right? And the Jets defense isn't completely average, but they're not stellar the way they have been in the past. And for the sacrifice that they've had to make, having Nathaniel Hackett as their offensive coach, they don't get enough return on that. They're not getting enough return this year. So I think oddly enough, the conversation is about Aaron Rodgers a lot because he's Aaron Rodgers. The conversation is about Hassan Reddick and the GM for that reason. The conversation is about, Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson. But I don't think enough of the conversation when it comes to the Jets is about the coach. Specifically when it comes to the defense, right? Some people will say, oh, he's a weird guy and he might not be the best leader and yada, yada, right? But a conversation has to be had about specifically how he's scheming up his defense and getting production out of his defense, because it's not where it needs to be. Again, to make sense given the trade-off that they have to make to have a guy like him as their head coach. Mahomes dives, throws it to Kelsey, gets them in third and manageable. And then on the Vikings side of things, I think we've seen Minnesota play better against better teams. It's an international game, so maybe you could say that kind of levels the playing field. And when teams are playing, it's a little bit weird of a situation. You may not get a blowout, but yeah, I think Minnesota's had much better games. Maybe this is kind of step one of them coming back down to earth. The Jets very well could have won this game. I think they were about 23, 24 yards away from winning the game, and then Rodgers threw a pick. But yeah, I think, oh shit, Mahomes did a 360. He tried to do a 360 no scope. Vikings are the best defense. Yeah, the Vikings defense had a great game. I think they picked off Rodgers. They picked off Rodgers 3 times. They obviously picked him off to win the game. The only person that did numbers was Garrett Wilson. And the thing about Garrett Wilson's day is that I think he had the kind of day for a receiver that you can live with as a defense, right? So if he's just going to go catch 13 like intermediate balls, you live with that. You live with that for sure. They're not explosive plays that he was doing. 26-yard field goal attempt for Butker. Bad hold or bad snap, I think. The holder did a great job of getting that down, and Butker puts it through. But yeah. Oh no, the snap was fine. The holder actually dropped it and then put it back into place. Shout out Cincinnati's holder, man, messing the game up for Cincinnati. We'll get to that game though. What else did I want to say about this game? Yeah, no, just that I think this maybe is Minnesota's step one to coming back down to earth. All right, Panthers, Bears. So on the Panthers side of things, literally nothing to talk about. They are who we thought they were. I think they put Bryce Young into the game at some point. I don't know if that was because of injury or not, but the Andy Dalton shit lasted a week. And I remember that on Football Landscaping, when I even after their big win against the Raiders, I was like, yeah, no, the Panthers are guaranteed to not make the playoffs. They maybe have that kind of a game here and there, but they are still what they are, and we saw more of that. On to the Bears side of things. which is more compelling. Again, when we had those shows, uh, while I'm skeptical about Chicago in the grand scheme of things, I always thought that they would improve, and they're showing signs of life now. They can run the ball a lot better than they did at the beginning of the year. Caleb Williams is only starting to get more and more comfortable. It's going to take more than performances against the Panthers to really turn people into believers. But they beat a really beat up Rams team in a close game last week. Beat up on a really bad Panthers team. But you got to you have to beat the teams that are in front of you. We can't um we can't downplay the fact that like it was totally possible for the Bears to not play well against these teams, right? As much of a mess as they've looked like, particularly from a coaching standpoint, as bad as we've seen things, the fact that they showed up and actually played competent ball is a good thing for them. But again, when it comes to the fact that they're 3-2 and now very much going to be a part of the conversation as a playoff team, you got to see more. And then when it comes to the Bears specifically, think about the division that they're in. That division is tough. The Vikings are a really good team. The Lions are a really good team. The Packers, I think they're going to have their ups and downs, but on the balance of things, pretty good team. Yeah, Bears are in a really tough division. I still think things won't work out when it comes to making the playoffs, but they are making progress. The game is back. Bucker is kicking it off, but the next game we're going to get into is Colts Jags after the break. But yeah, Saints kick return goes out to the 25. I think slowly as the year goes on, teams are starting to figure out what they want to do. Oh, damn. Is that linebacker okay? Wait, they're showing Kelsey? What happened to Kelsey? What I saw is that the Saints linebacker went headfirst into Kelsey and then took the brunt of the hit there. Well, let's see if the Saints can get anything going in the passing game. Handoff up the middle. They go for nothing. But yeah, I think teams are starting to figure out or get a feel for the kickoff. And they're not just kicking it out of the end zone anymore. Like they're starting to actually kick it in play and try to tackle them, obviously, before the 30. So that's good to see. I think by the end of the year, when teams really get comfortable with it, hopefully you see like some more interesting strategic stuff. But so far, I mean, if the goal was to just get something better than last year, I do think they managed to achieve that. Carr drops back, throws it to, is that Jawan Johnson? For like 3 yards. So the issues with the passing game seem to persist. Things are still pretty slow for that team. Third and 6. Kamara in motion. Runs an option route, and he is the target there. Picks up about 9 yards on 3rd and 6. I wonder if you gave. So I think Tom Brady, when he had James White, that was a really great example. And Kevin Falk, to be honest, of a quarterback really knowing how to use his receiver, like his check down, his receiver for check downs, almost like a weapon, and also like option routes. I think if Brady had Kamara, you would have seen some ungodly things when it comes to running backs running option routes. Like I think Brady throwing the ball to Kamara within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage would have been OP. Are they? Why are they showing Derek Carr's last 4 OCs? Oh, it's 4 in 4 years. That's what they're trying to talk about, I guess. Because I was going to say, are they shitting on these guys? Because I'm pretty sure Clint Kubiak is good. Saints getting outgained by 90 yards so far. Only, 20 minutes into the game. On pace to get outscored by like 270. So that's, or outgained by 270. So that's not good. Saints complete the pass to Rashid Shaheed. And I think this is their first time in Chiefs territory. I think so. 1st and 10 for New Orleans. It looks like a heavy run set. Handoff to Kamara, right up the middle. So I think after the Saints' good start on the ground, I think the first 5 carries were good. I don't think they've got much on the ground. Yeah, I think after their first 5 carries, they had 25 yards. I'd like to see what their numbers are sitting at now. Okay, so their last 3 carries have gone for 2 yards. That's what I've been seeing. Carr. Oh, he has Rashid Shaheed. Wait, why is he acting like that? Is there a call? Oh no, Shaheed is just too casual with it. Bro, he reacted like there's a penalty or something calling this back. Oh, Cook, the safety, number 6. He bit like crazy on that route. God damn, Rashid Shaheed. This guy scores long touchdowns so easily. Like, if you look at his touchdowns, does he have one from under 30? I don't know. But as somebody who needs 19 fantasy points from Patrick Mahomes, I'm very thankful that the Saints scored to keep the Chiefs, offense actually trying to score and not just milking the clock. He didn't even run that crazy of a route. How did number 6 get burnt like that? That was nasty. But we have a game, people. 10-7. But yeah, Colts and Jaguars. So the Colts have now lost, I think, 11 games in a row in Jacksonville. So that's a weird curse that I didn't know of before this week. Me and Peter were breaking these games down. Neither of us could understand why the Jags were 3-point favorites. And I brought up kind of casually after we stated all the reasons they shouldn't be 3-point favorites. Like, hey, by the way, there's this weird streak that Indy's on of just not winning in Jacksonville. And I kind of felt like Joe Flacco would, I've seen Indy bring a lot of bad quarterbacks to Jacksonville. I was like, nah, Joe Flacco is steady for his shortcomings. He's a calming presence. The Jaguars are a mess. I thought the Colts would figure it out. That didn't happen. Some takeaways here. Start with the Jags. Still a sloppy team. Their defense has been pretty suspect, still looks suspect. Offensively, I think they got some plays, but hold on, let me look at exactly what their numbers were. But what I would say is that I think Indy's defense has shown some flaws this year, and they kind of lucked out playing this kind of defense. So yeah, Bigsby had 101 rushing yards, 7.8 a carry. That's not sustainable or realistic to assume will happen again, right? So you got Bigsby had a great, especially great game. You can put that on the Colts. Trevor Lawrence, only 6 incompletions, 370 passing yards. Again, not gonna happen like consistently. That's not sustainable. You had an unsustainably good offensive day from Jacksonville. They only won the game by 3 points. That's a problem. That's a really, really big problem. Most other defenses you play against are not going to be like the Colts defense. When you get that kind of a day offensively, you better hope you blow the other team out. And they didn't at all. So that's definitely a concern for them. And we've expressed many times how, there's a lot of concerns with them and they look like their season is done. It looks like that team is in a really bad spot. And that's, understandable. And it was it could be projected. So on the Colts side of things, I already talked about their defense. Their defense has looked incredibly flawed. Our resident Colts fan Daniel was calling for Gus Bradley's head. Um, gave up 24 points to a Steelers offense that really struggled against a really beat up Dallas team. Like when you start to get into the NFL season, you can compare results to other results to kind of piece things together. You see how bad the Steelers offense looked against Dallas's defense yesterday, right? And again, Dallas was missing before the game their top two pass rushers, and then during the game they lost out on another pass rusher. So you got Dallas basically playing without a pass rush, and your offense still looked like shit. So it makes you question the defense that a week before that, the Steelers offense, did decent against. They scored 24 points, and they actually scored 24 points quickly. Like they figured it out, and they had a really good, a really easy time against the Colts defense. Before that, the Colts defense were, I think, they had okay games against Malik Willis and the Bears offense that was still figuring things out. But yeah, a lot of concerns for the Colts defense. And then last but not least, to get to the Colts offense, I said this 2 weeks ago where I think the Colts are in a tricky position because if Joe Flacco comes in and hoops, and you're never going to bench Anthony Richardson. That's completely fair and understandable. But then if after that Anthony Richardson steps onto the field and doesn't really play well, you're putting the coach and the organization in a really tough spot, because this is a thing in football where you can't lose the locker room by playing the quarterback that everybody knows is the second best quarterback. That is not something you can do. We've seen that very situation go wrong plenty of times in the NFL. When the Panthers benched Bryce Young for Andy Dalton, a part of what they talked about when they talked about that decision was you can't lie to that locker room of professionals and grown men that we're going to play Bryce Young. He's our best option. When everybody knows Andy Dalton is the best option for right now. You can't do that. You're going to lose your team. So they had to bench him for Dalton to, at the very minimum, let it fail so that if they go back to Bryce Young, you don't lose everybody. The Colts, I talked about this 2 weeks ago. I was like, if AR goes down and Flacco hoops like he did last year, AR is going to get the job back. But what he does after that point will be very crucial. So I think for the Colts, it is so important that Anthony Richardson looks good when he gets back on the field. Because if he doesn't, you're putting everybody in a really uncomfortable situation. And that will be a talking point and a conversation that happens every single time Anthony Richardson looks average or below. And, this is kind of the risk of having a quarterback like this. When I say quarterback like this, I mean a backup like Flacco, telling everybody that that's a backup. Because again, if the team gets to feel like their best chances at winning games right now, and again, most of an NFL's roster concern is right now. There's very few players on the Colts that have the luxury of thinking 2-3 years down the road. Most of that team is thinking right now. If that team gets to believing that Joe Flacco is their best option to win games right now, the whole organization is in a tough position. So for their sake, they need Anthony Richardson to look good immediately when he comes back. So we already talked about Bills and Texans, Ravens and Bengals. But the game is back. So we'll get to Ravens Bengals at the next commercial break. My buddy's a Colts fan and he wants Gus Bradley gone. Yeah, I think Gus Bradley's been cooked for a long time. That defense hasn't looked good since the Legion of Boom, and maybe you can credit that to the crazy personnel, but I mean, okay, I can't lie. That's a bit harsh. He was okay in Jacksonville as well. Jacksonville's defense at a point was solid. But since then, it hasn't looked good. And we're talking at this point, 5-6 years ago? So Gus Bradley, football has passed him by. It is what it is. The Colts definitely need a better defensive coordinator if they want to make any noise. 3rd and 6 for the Chiefs on their own side of the field. First drive after the Saints touchdown, Mahomes drops back, seemingly doesn't have options, runs with the ball, and picks up the first down. Chase Young chasing him down. But yeah, it's looking like this is a very familiar sight when you watch Mahomes nowadays. Obviously, I remember what it used to be like watching the Chiefs offense when they had it Tyreek Hill and a Kelsey in his prime and those kind of weapons. But the scene of Mahomes running around frantically while scanning the field, hoping that at some point when he turns his head, he'll see an option, is all too familiar sight at this point. So I feel like if you look at that play design, right, they had Xavier Worthy sprinting to the left in motion, and then they threw it immediately to Juju. So like, there's not even a necessarily an attempt to read the whole situation and see what the best option is. On a play like that, they're just looking at Xavier Worthy and saying, if we have this guy sprinting in motion, he'll just take enough attention that if we throw into the space where people should be leaving to follow him, it'll, go well. But I think Juju got smacked immediately and there was like four Saints there. So like, oh shit, theory little dump off to Xavier Worthy in space, picks up about 15 yards. I was gonna say that's a classic case of theory versus practice, because in theory, that's supposed to open up a bunch of space for Juju. But in practice, I don't think Xavier Worthy is actually done enough yet to command, like to inspire fear. Everybody knows he's fast, but I don't think he's done enough dirt in the league yet for him going in motion to really scare a defense yet. That's gonna come with time. That's gonna definitely come with time. Saints defender is hurt on the sideline. I can't tell who that is. There was a number 5 on the jersey, but the Chiefs players are huddling around him. It is on the Chiefs bench. Oh, Xavier Worthy's taking a knee. I wonder what's going on with this guy. I couldn't tell who it is. Could anybody here tell which player that was? But yeah, shout out to everybody tapped in. Appreciate all you guys for watching. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Two very important forms of engagement for the growth of a YouTube channel. And that's what we're trying to do, people. Really trying to hit 500 subscribers as quick as possible since I got the watch time. So I have the watch time for monetization now. I just need to hit 500 subs. So I have a year to do it because the stream that Tom Grossi rated has has 3,000 hours of watch time, enough for monetization on its own, but it only counts towards monetization for a year. So I'm on the clock. I got a year to hit 500 subs. So we're definitely all systems go for that for the next year. I have no excuse now. I'm gonna have to do off-season content. I kept saying this off-season that I would do off-season content, and then I just didn't. But no excuse this time. Okay. The next game we wanted to talk about, Ravens Bengals. So where should we start? Should we start with the Ravens? Defensively, not a good game. I think we've seen a bunch of lesser defenses play better games against the Bengals offense even this year. Yeah, Ravens defense, that they're good. They have their big moments. They generated an interception. Like they got a couple big stops towards the end. They generated the big interception to turn the game. So they did their fair share. But that they have bad moments in them as well. Because we saw how, we saw Cincinnati make some really big plays. A lot of offense from them. I think Burrow was efficient as well. We saw the Raiders heat up when necessary towards the end of that game. You just want to see. Oh yeah, the amount of ads in NFL games is crazy. Oh, that's like a non-contact injury. Damn, Will Harris. Looks like a safety. Okay, the game is back. We'll go back to the Ravens Bengals at the next commercial. Mahomes hands it off to Kareem Hunt. About 4 yards on first down. I wonder I wonder what Kareem Hunt has to do to still be a factor when Pacheco comes back. I feel like if he established himself as a passing threat, maybe that could be something. But even Pacheco has been catching more passes recently. I don't know. Mahomes rolls left, throws it to Kelsey for 8 yards, gets the automatic gets the first down. Who's number 12 on Kansas City? I bet it's a receiver I have no idea about. Okay, let's look up this depth chart. Number 12 is hilariously a tight end. Number 12 is Jared Wiley, the rookie. Did Xavier Worthy go for minus yards there? God damn, why did I miss that? Oh, Alante Taylor blitzing? Yo, this guy's it was a trick play. Oh my God, Alante Taylor. Best blitzing nickel corner in the league. I think the last really good one we saw was Mike Hilton, but I haven't seen him make the kind of plays Alante Taylor is making. That's a slot machine right there. Mahomes navigates the traffic, rushes, and actually gets hit pretty good by Alante Taylor. There's a flag on the play. Is this going to be offensive holding? Holding offense. Damn, we're about to see 2nd and 34. The pass rush got home and they held. Chiefs offensive line, man. Chiefs offensive line. Okay, I see what they called, but that was super unnecessary as well. Super unnecessary. Mahomes on 2nd and 34. Little screen pass to Juju, who had some blockers, picked up like 10 or 11. But Juju Smith-Schuster is not nearly athletic enough to make something out of a play like that. That is not the way at all. Come on, man. Run that for just about anybody else. Screw it. Run that for Sky Moore. Anybody but him. Okay. It's 3rd and 22 from outside of field goal range. Mahomes drops back, throws it to Kelsey, who's going to threaten to pass it back. He laterals it to Pirine, who gets, he gets about 20 yards, 2 yards short. Tell me, so you guys can't tell this, but as soon as Kelsey caught the ball and he was actually holding it like not to throw it, I already knew the way he was running. I'm like, there's no way he's not going to throw this ball. Like the direction he was running towards the sideline, I was like, oh, this is definitely a lateral. Looking at the replay, I think Marshawn Lattimore could tell. Everybody else was going towards Kelsey, though. Okay, they're lining up for a sneak, but they don't sneak with Mahomes. What is this? What is this? There's a timeout? Timeout, New Orleans. Yeah, so I think the New Orleans were also confused just like me there. Did I call them the New Orleans? The Saints. The New Orleans Saints. 4th and 1. We know that the Chiefs do not sneak the ball with Mahomes. But they lined up looking like that was good. That's what they were going for. I think the Saints were a little bit confused. So they got 21 yards on that lateral from Kelsey. That's good. They're passing up on a field goal here, seemingly. Andy Reid tends to dig into his bag of tricks in these kind of moments. So we'll see what he has set up here. Kelsey waited last minute too. He let Tyrann Mathieu. Okay. Huge motion with about 20 seconds left on the play clock, though. So a lot of time for the Saints to adjust. Handoff to Kareem Hunt up the middle, and he gets it pretty easily, gets it by a yard. So yeah, for all the trickery that I just referenced, simple handoff down the middle in that situation. Just a bunch of adjustments before the snap to give them something to think about, but ultimately something straightforward. Something straightforward worked out. 11 plays, 59 yards, 6 minutes. This is a hell of a drive so far by Kansas City. Handoff to Hunt, who fights for 2 yards. Was not a well blocked up run there. So yeah, we have a game, people. The way the game started out, I didn't think it would be a 3-point game. As bad as the Saints offense was at times, I did not expect that. Where were we? This is where we were. What the hell? Okay, yeah. So Ravens Bengals. Where did I get left off? Oh yeah, I was talking about the Ravens defense. Yeah, bad performance from the Ravens defense. We know that they have some good moments in them, but like they don't quite look as sharp as they were last year. And something you have to keep in mind is obviously they lost Mike McDonald. When Mike McDonald was new and they had a new defensive coordinator for the first time in a long time, it actually took the Ravens half a year to settle into who they were. They traded for Roquan. That was obviously a big difference or like a big change. But yeah, before that trade, and I guess before McDonald settled in, the Ravens defense wasn't quite looking like the Ravens defense. They obviously went on to become an incredibly strong unit, but there's another change at that same spot. McDonald got the promotion to Seattle, and their defensive coordinator is actually somebody that's younger than one of their players. Why am I blanking on his name? I was just reading about him recently. But he used to be a linebacker for the Ravens, and then injuries ended his career. Defensive cord. No, not defensive players. Why would I search this up? Coordinator. Zach Orr. So yeah, Zachary Orr, the defensive coordinator. Yeah. So when you reflect about McDonald, I'm assuming that there could be some an adjustment period for Orr as well. There also could be the possibility that he's doesn't live up to how strong the Ravens defensive coordinators have been. They went from Wink Martindale to Mike McDonald to now this guy. Like there's potential he doesn't live up to those two coordinators, and that could be a reason that they're not as good as a unit. There's potential that he is as good and he needs the adjustment period. But I do think what you're seeing is that that Ravens defense is yet to be what we know they could be. And much like I talk about, I talk about the same type of thing with Houston. Like just because we know that a team probably will end up being really good doesn't mean we have to act like they're good right now. Houston has not played great yet. We know they're a great team and they probably will be one, but they haven't done it yet. And I think that's okay acknowledging that. Mahomes wrapped up on 2nd and 8, Chase Young. But yeah, same thing with the Ravens defense. We know they'll probably be great at some point, but they're not great yet. And yeah, we'll get back to that game at the next commercial break. So far, but yeah, so far we talked about we talked about the Ravens defense. We still have a lot more to talk about in that game. Saints took a timeout here, so they hope to get the ball back down 6 or maybe 3 and see what they can do. Who starts with the ball in the second half? Because I missed. Oh no, the Saints had. Oh yeah, this next drive will be important for the Saints. It will be very important. I can tell you that much. Mahomes in 3rd and 14 from the 25, well within field goal range. Mahomes drops back, dumps it off to P. Ryan. who got a bunch of yards on that 3rd and 22, but he can only get about 8 yards here. Sets them up in a 4th and go. Like, you could go for this, but honestly, in a game like this, I think you just take the 3 points. You start out the second half with the ball. If your defense can just keep the Saints away from the end zone, which they've done a really good job of outside of literally one play, a deep touchdown to Rashid Shaheed. I mean, I think that was the Saints' first play in Chiefs territory in the whole game, and it was a touchdown. So, yeah, if you're the Chiefs, you probably feel good about relying on your defense, going into halftime up 6, and then starting the second half with the ball. So I think you just take the points here. We've seen that being the smarter decision in a lot of games this year. This year, with defenses kind of having strong seasons so far as a whole, offense is not really converting, scoring a lot of touchdowns. Field goals are important when you can get them. And in a game here where the Chiefs defense is playing as well as it has in moments, you definitely want to take these 3 points here. Bucker knocks it down the middle. Chiefs have a 6-point lead, and they will see if their defense can preserve that lead until halftime. But we'll pivot back to this game. So I talked about the Ravens defense. We have to give them time to adjust. They're not what they were last year, but they have a new defensive coordinator, so that's understandable. Ravens offense, sensational game. Best game so far for them this year. They've started to figure out how to integrate Derrick Henry into their offense. Now, with a player like Lamar Jackson, you want to run your quarterback out of shotgun as much as possible because you want there to be the threat of him keeping the ball in every single handoff. Understandably, that's a big part of what the Ravens do offensively. However, a running back like Derrick Henry, he's much better statistically out of the I formation. So quarterback's under center, he's behind the quarterback, gets a running start straight forward at the line of scrimmage. That's how you use Derrick Henry. So I think it took the Ravens offense a little bit of time to integrate Henry and the kind of plays that are best for a player like him. Oh, buddy. He did not want to run that out, and then he realized he messed up. God damn, Jamal Williams. Lost out on 10 yards. Okay, yeah, what was I saying? So yeah, I think it took them some time to integrate Derrick Henry, but they've done it now. And their offense looked amazing. Derrick Henry took over against Dallas, took over against Buffalo, and took over. Ultimately, he iced the game in overtime against the Bengals. You hope for their sake that they can keep him healthy. Derek Carr takes a shot. Oh, he had him, but it had to be a perfect throw, and it wasn't. Led him a little bit too far towards the sideline. Who is this Tipton guy? I'm not familiar at all. It's my first time seeing him play. But yeah, took the Ravens time to integrate Derrick Henry. They're starting to look sharp now. I think Mark Andrews saw his first catch in a long time, and Isaiah likely saw 2 touchdowns. So Lamar got his tight ends more involved than usual. Obviously, the Ravens don't have a lot of passing targets, but Lamar was just sensational against Cincinnati. That second touchdown to Likely was special stuff. Like, I reacted to that audibly when I first heard it. I got up out of my seat. I was like, oh my God. Unreal play. Yeah. You know the Bengals defense is a unit that's going to struggle. They struggled against the Commanders. They struggled against the Ravens. Damning indictment against that unit as a whole. They've lost a few players. Your DJ Readers, your Jesse Bates. I think they lost a corner as well. But yeah, bad unit. Ravens definitely took advantage of it. So I've talked about the Ravens. To look at the Bengals side of things, yeah, the defense is a mess. They lost Dax Hill to a torn ACL. They lost Trent Brown, or they lost one of the Browns. I think it was Trent Brown. Yeah, but yeah, the Bengals defense has been a mess, and it will continue to be a mess. That team is in for a reset year for sure. They need to probably have a hell of a draft class defensively. I think they're going to have some good picks. They need to just go defensive players and hope that they can replenish the lost talent on that side of the ball. Offensively, I think we did see, again, a pretty impressive performance from the Bengals offense, considering that they went up against while the a Ravens defense who, while they haven't figured out who they are yet, still a good team defensively. So the way that the Bengals produced, I think it was impressive. But of course, back-breaking pick at the end of the game. You don't want to see that from Burrow. But from Burrow's standpoint and the offensive standpoint as a whole, probably their best game yet offensively. And maybe it's a sign that they're building up as an offense. But we'll see for sure. We'll see for sure at some point, or like as the season goes onwards. That being said, it might not matter because they're 1-4. They may have just lost too many damn games. Is this the worst Mahomes has ever been? Yeah, definitely. He'll tell you himself. He talked about how he's not playing well. And the tough thing is like at the beginning of his career, he had way better weapons. And then the last 2 years, he hasn't had great weapons. But you could argue this is about, considering that Kelsey has been on the decline, this is probably his worst set of weapons. And the more you play without weapons, the more film you put out there, the more other teams can even understand, okay, when Mahomes has no weapons, like what is he like to do? The more, again, defenses can learn how to play against that. So, no, I think this is definitely the worst situation for Mahomes to be playing in. And again, like all things considered, right? The tape that's put out there and his weapons right now. So I definitely think that like the result of that is you're seeing the worst output from Mahomes. Mahomes drops back. A duck to Worthy there. That pass couldn't be caught by anybody, Alontae Taylor or Worthy. Second and 10. Chiefs do have a timeout. They actually have an opportunity to get some more points here. They start the ball second half with the ball. So this is like a 2 drives for 1. Oh shit, he found Juju. Juju gets like 30 yards. They're already in field goal range, and he got out of bounds, and they have a timeout. So they can very much go for a touchdown here. Damn, Juju just zone defense there. He just found the spot in the zone. A veteran receiver there, using some veteran savvy to, again, find the place to get to be open with his mind. Physical gifts are gone with that receiver, but he's here for a reason, and that's the kind of play where you see what the reason is. Oh, Xavier Worthy. Now he's probably only getting about 4 yards before going out of bounds. But in theory, you could find yourself in that situation and you have nothing but empty space to run into. You know what? If he catch it, okay, that ball, Mahomes, that's a bad ball from Mahomes, because if he put it out in front of Worthy, it would have set up P. Ryan to block that Saints player, and Worthy maybe gets about 20 yards there. Throwing it behind Worthy made the catch tough, but it also gave the Saints player in front of P. Ryan an angle to get around P. Ryan and go towards Worthy. So just a bad ball there by Mahomes. Mahomes finds Juju. Why is Alontae Taylor saying the clock should be running? That's horrible. Why would he's thinking maybe the receiver got hit out of backwards? Definitely not, though. Definitely not backwards. 100% went sideways. It's so clear to see because he steps out of bounds almost right beside where his foot is inbound. So you can see that it's side by side. Third and 3 here. Xavier Worthy in motion. Oh, they go the other way to Juju, who toughs out about 9 yards. They're probably going to burn the timeout here. Yeah, they're going to burn the timeout here. You can probably take some shots. You have to take some shots, if not to the end zone, towards the end zone. If you get caught up at the 5 here, you could probably still spike the ball. But yeah, there's no upside in throwing short passes at this point. Oh, what does Mahomes' numbers look like? Whoa, he has 205. He's 9 points. I need 19. I need 10 more fantasy points from Mahomes. That's tough. I need the Saints to keep scoring. And I need, 2 touchdowns from Mahomes? I don't think one will get it done. First and 10 here. No timeouts left for the Chiefs. Mahomes. Okay. Passes it to Kelsey. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Marshawn Lattimore. You have to know the situation. He bid on the fake to Kelsey. Kelsey's say what you want about him. He's a smart football player, man. Of course he knows he has to get out of bounds. I can't believe Marshawn Lattimore let him get out of bounds. Really stupid play there by the Saints, a veteran Saints corner, just not understanding the situation there. You cannot bite on that fake. Chiefs' run game is about to be deadly when Pacheco returns. Out of curiosity, because I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you, but what are you seeing that makes you feel that way? Saints drop 8 into coverage, only rushing 3. Mahomes throws it out of bounds. 3rd and 2. Because I definitely think they're going to spam it. I think they're going to run the ball a lot when Pacheco comes back. But I actually don't think I have an opinion on the efficiency. That's why I'm curious as to what makes you say that. The pattern on that dress is insane. I'm not a fan. But shout out any Swifties that might be watching. You guys are very appreciated. You're welcome at this platform. Hit the like button and subscribe, please. Mahomes almost runs out of bounds, chucks it out the back of the end zone. Cleveland's run game was elite when they had Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Oh, you're talking about having Kareem Hunt and Pacheco as a 1-2. No, I get what you're going for there for sure. What is Hunt doing? Hunt has 12 for 53. Yeah, I don't know. My question is does Andy Reid have the discipline to feed 2 running backs? I don't think so. I think Pacheco is going to get a whole lot of run though. But if they ever embraced being a running team, oh my, like Mahomes play actions with an elite run defense would be something else. Okay, so the Chiefs tack on another 3 points, get a 9-point lead. They will start the second half with the ball, so they're in a really strong position for this game. We have how many games to recap? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 6 games to recap, so we're going to leave that for the second half for sure. Shout out to all the people watching live right now. Make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. 2 very important forms of engagement for the growth of a YouTube channel. What we do here typically is we recap the games during the watch along, during breaks in the play, which is commercials, weird reviews, all those things. It's halftime now. Feel free to get any thoughts or questions you have in the chat. Saints basically gave up a TD in 3 minutes because of dumb time management. Yeah, their drive ended way too quickly. When they got the ball with about a minute 30 to go. I'm assuming they didn't run the ball once. What was their third down situation like, though? See, on 3rd and 7, actually, no, they completed the pass to Kamara. Actually, they completed 2 of their passes? Yikes. Okay, just shit football then. Just really shit football from the Saints on that drive. I forgot what happened. They couldn't have run much more clock, but yeah, you can't give the ball back to Kansas City there. You're down 9. Kansas City starts the second half with the ball. Saints are in a really tough position. Offensively, I think, again, they've spent 1 play in Chiefs territory. And then if you think about time of possession must be really lopsided. It's 19 and a half to 10 and a half. So you're talking about a team that has seen 2/3 of the ball while the other team has seen 1/3. Total offense must be crazy lopsided too. 270 to 112. Yeah, this is a 9-point game that frankly it feels like a 20-point game. That much I'll tell you guys for sure. But yeah, people. What are we gonna do for halftime? I think I'm gonna take a quick break. A much shorter break than I took last night when we did the Raptors stream. But yeah, any questions you guys have, any thoughts you guys might have, feel free to get those in the chat for when I get back. We got 9 more games to recap. I kind of wanted to save that for the second half. Maybe we'll if this game if the Saints score a touchdown, we'll predict the season as the game finishes up. If the Saints score a touchdown and go up 16 points, we're going to predict the season. So I'll run through the recaps when I get back. I'll see you guys in a few minutes. I don't care if you guys stay here or not. Just make sure you guys are back in like 5 minutes. I'll see you guys then. And we're back for the second half, people. 9-point game. Big drive coming up for Kansas City. If Kansas City scores a touchdown here, I think it might be game over. The way the Saints offense is played. Opening kickoff for the Saints. He actually, what a kickoff. Pins Steele right in the corner, who does a great job of running hard to get right up to the 30. So only lost out a yard, but quite the kick from Groupie or Group. I don't know what his name is. If Groupie is the last name, that's a horrible last name. But I think it might not be that. So the Saints have led for 66% of the season. That's second in the NFL. They haven't led at all today. So it's been a bad game today for them. Juju in motion. Watson out wide. Handoff to Kareem Hunt, who gets about 3-4 yards on first down. Yeah, the way the Chiefs have been able to hold the ball, you know that this drive, yes, they're looking to score a touchdown, but they're also looking to run as much clock as they can because they know they can. They're trying to put together another 7-8 minute drive. Drop the Saints to 2-3 after starting 2-0. Handoff to Hunt for about 3 yards. So first down, second down. Simple plays. Kareem Hunt runs up the middle. Probably going to let this play clock run all the way down. Kill a minute, 20 seconds with the first two plays. The clock is not the enemy for the Chiefs. The Saints got to do what they can do to get off the field ASAP. Another handoff to Kareem Hunt. So first down, second down, third down. Who is this Andy Reid? I don't know this guy. This guy did not coach the Eagles when I was growing up. I can tell you that much. He would never in Philadelphia. First down. Saints have already run 2 minutes in this third quarter. Steele is in the game. They hand it to Steele. So 4 runs up the middle. First 4 plays for Kansas City. Again, who is this? I do not know this guy. Andy Reid, again, was not the coach I grew up on. Running the ball up the middle, 4 plays in a row to start a half. The hell? But it's amazing what time can do to a person, man. The lessons he's learned over the years. It's a toss to Steele now, so they add a little wrinkle. We're not going to run it up the middle now. We're going to run a toss to get the first down. So 5 plays, 5 runs, roughly 23 yards on these 5 plays. They're still in the huddle with 15 seconds left in the play clock, so they're also doing a good job of running the clock as much as they can. Mahomes, play action now, huh? Fancy. Mahomes finds Noah Gray. Noah Gray turns it upfield, stays inbounds. Clear effort here to run the clock. Tyrann Mathieu shoves Juju to the ground, but there's no flag. That's a surprise. Yeah, Tyrann Mathieu got sick of Juju blocking him. Said, get the hell off of me. Xavier Worthy in motion. Hand off to Hunt up the middle, and it finally doesn't work. The Saints finally stop the run on this drive. Brian Bresee, or Brisset. I don't know how that's pronounced. But yeah, he made a big tackle. Finally, the Saints are in a 2nd and 10. Probably an obvious passing down, especially for an Andy Reid team. But the way they've been running it on this drive, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to run a draw or something, get into 3rd and 6 and go from there. With their lead, with their kicker, I kind of don't think they would mind going up 19-7. Mahomes scrambling and probably grounding. That is probably grounding. But I guess not there. Just throws it out of a sack at the last second. I didn't get a chance to see a good angle, so I don't know if there was a receiver there or not. But Brian Bresee in the backfield again. Cam Jordan brings him down, but he gets rid of the ball first. Kelsey trying to just find the sweet spot between the zones, but was followed there by a Saints linebacker. 3rd and 10. Saints opportunity to get off the field and hold the Chiefs. Mahomes end zone shot to Worthy. Definitely just gets shoved out of bounds, but I think the ball was uncatchable. May have not seen this right because my eyes went to Worthy, but I do think the ball landed out of bounds. But Mahomes here clearly just throwing a jump ball to a receiver. You know what? That was not uncatchable. I'm tripping. That's a weird call. Okay, there's not that much contact upon further review, but there's enough contact. You know what it is with Worthy? This applies in basketball. Actually, applies in every sport. When guys are so small and so slight and so easy to move, Bucker misses it. Yes, Chiefs don't score without Mahomes scoring a touchdown. I need Mahomes fantasy points. But yeah, when guys are so slight, the smallest contact makes them fall. So literally, like, they're not flopping, they're just slight. So they do tend to get moved easier, which does tend to get the eye of referees easier. And they do benefit from it. So I think Worthy there, honestly, if that's AJ Brown, he doesn't get budged at all. And probably, maybe doesn't catch the ball, but also doesn't get budged. And there's no argument for pass interference. But there was there because Worthy did get contacted and fall down as a result. But Chiefs get enough calls, man. We don't care about the refs missing calls for them. Okay. Breaks in the game, people. So for those of you guys who are new here, we talk about football games during the breaks. Browns and Commanders. Did not watch a second of this game. So the thoughts on this are a pretty big picture. And the big picture is that the Browns are shit. No pun intended. The quarterback situation is terrible. It's one of the worst I've ever seen. The coach is honestly really in danger of messing this up. Now, he's done some good things in Cleveland while he's been there, but you cannot go down with the ship with Watson. You're in a tough position contractually, yes, but let that be the GM's problem. You got to get Jameis Winston on the field because this is going down quickly. We saw what happened when Flacco played. You made a trade for a receiver. This is a mess. Play Jameis, see what happens. You're getting Nick Chubb back. You hope that he's healthy enough. You hope that he doesn't take too long to get reintegrated, but you got to play Jameis. It's time. Stop acting like this Deshaun Watson thing is going to get better. It's not. Oh my God, you guys, I saw something crazy on Twitter. I saw a Browns fan call him Osama bin Watson. That was crazy. I saw that and I could not believe what I heard. But I was laughing though. That was crazy. That's how they feel in Cleveland though. They really think that, he did terroristic things to their organization. I actually do think that I saw a viewer drop out just as I said that. So shout out to whoever that was, whether that's your last time ever seeing the content. It was real. It was fun. It was good having you here. I'm sorry you had to hear that and leave. But yeah, so that's how dire things are in Cleveland. You got the fans comparing their quarterback to terrorists. And yeah, Jameis Winston has to play. For the Commanders, more of the same in terms of just them playing against bad teams the way they're supposed to. I don't think they're going to get tested for a while. I don't think that bodes well for the end of their season, but they're going to have a good record, people. A lot of easy games in the schedule. They are making quick work of these bad teams, more of the same. Um, yes, the Commanders do have their QB finally. Shout out Gale. Um, and yeah, they're gonna have some stability. They're going to be able to rely on him for a long time. They also obviously have stability at the ownership spot, the GM spot, and then we'll see about the coach. The coach, I do think that they may run into some issues with Dan Quinn. Um, Not issues in the sense of that I think he'll be bad. I do think that you may hit a ceiling with a coach like that. But we'll see. I think a lot of the spots in their organization that they have found some stability, and that's the best situation they've been in during my lifetime. So that's good for them. But yes, 3rd and 6, huge play for the Saints here. You cannot go 3-and-out. The way this game has been going. Derek Carr, I think, gets to his like 3rd read and then finally finds Foster Moreau. They get a 1st down. Yeah, the way the time of possession in this game has gone, the Saints could not go 3-and-out. Their defense has been on the field for so much of this game. Kamara on a toss to the right. Does a good job of staying up, but eventually there's just too many Chiefs defenders. I'm definitely cheering for the Saints to get some points here. I need there to be more incentive for the Chiefs to score because I need Mahomes to get fantasy points. Carr turns around, play action, takes another shot. This time, Shaheed is not able to come down with the ball. So I think Carr has taken about 4 or 5 deep shots now. Only one of them panned out, but obviously that's worth it. This one does not find its way into Rashid Shaheed's hands. I do think that maybe that was an option route because it looks like Rashid sat down on the route before running forward. I don't know if that was a designed break or if he was just putting a move on the defender or what there, trying to get some separation, but could not stretch out far enough to catch the ball. Big 3rd-and-7 here. Saints are too far from field goal range. Really good play design to get a wide open receiver at around the 7-yard mark, but there is a quick flag on this play. We'll see who that's against. The Saints people look scared. Not scared. They look concerned. Allen, Carr, the receiver. Illegal shift on the offense. Oh, boy, that's frustrating. Oh, my God. You go from getting a 1st down and into field goal range. You go from that to being in 3rd-and-12 in nothing close to field goal range. Yeah, Olave was not set. He was not set when the ball was snapped, and it looks like it was very clearly his fault. So Olave potentially wiping 3 points off the board if they can't get a good yardage here. You are at a point where it would be a 68-yard field goal, so you got to get at least 10 here. You're not going to get the 12 yards for the 1st down, fair enough, but you got to get at least 10. You need some points here. Derek Carr, the Chiefs bring pressure. Oh, my God, they get a sack. Oh, my God. They drove the Saints so far back into their own side of the field. That's crazy. Nightmare penalty from Chris Olave. Literally, he wiped between 3 to 7 points off the board. We don't know how this drive goes on if they get that 1st down. But game-altering penalty there from Chris Olave. You cannot have that from your superstar wide receiver who is on the thumbnail of this watch-along, people. I was thinking about putting Mahomes and Derek Carr, and I said, you know what? I cannot put Derek Carr on a thumbnail. You know, I aspire for levels of coolness and just better than Derek Carr. You know, just couldn't do it. So I picked Olave and Kelsey. But yeah, Olave messed things up for his team there, big time. Saints punt the ball, Chiefs get the ball back. The way they've been running the clock, there's a decent chance the Saints don't see the ball till the fourth quarter. And it could be a 16-point game. Yes, Olave killed this game. Absolutely just, you know what that Southern Carolina player did after getting the sack? The sack celebration? That's what Olave just did to the game. Nonsense, man. Nonsense. Raiders, Broncos. Okay, quick thoughts here. Raiders, complete mess. Doesn't matter what you think about the good players on that team. The situation as a whole is a mess, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. I predicted the Broncos to win this game. The reason I predicted this Broncos to win this game is simply they just have like competence in their organization right now. I don't think they're that good or good at all. But they have a coach. They have a quarterback. They have a bit of a plan. Not a great one, but they have a plan. And the Raiders, actually, I don't think have any of those things. So I had the Broncos winning. I think the Raiders were up 10-0 in this game. So they got outscored 34-8 down the stretch in this game. 100-yard pick six. That's never good to see. The Raiders benched the quarterback. That organization is a mess. And like I said, it's going to get worse before it gets better. I saw really bad things for the Raiders' future when they hired Luke Getsy and signed Gardner Minshew. And I hate that I'm right because I like Antonio Pierce. I like Wilkins. I like Crosby. I like Devontae. There's a handful of things I like in Vegas. But when they made those two decisions at the offensive coordinator and quarterback situation, I said, good teams do not make these kind of decisions. And it proved to be problematic for the Raiders. Broncos side of things, yeah, I think so. My take on the Broncos is I think that they're not a good team, right? But they've graduated from incompetence to competence this year. I think that's what's happened with the Broncos. Again, I don't think they're good. I think they're still going to lose a bunch of games. But the Broncos at times were incompetent last year. I think that's gone. I think you're going to get at least a steady football team on a week-to-week basis. So when they run into teams that are a mess, so you look at the Raiders, you look at kind of the Jets aren't quite a mess, but they got some mess in them. You know, the Broncos are going to beat those kind of teams. So, yeah, the quick takeaways from that game. Cardinals, Niners, we will get to at the next commercial break, people. That's how we do it here. We do game recaps during the commercials. Chiefs start with the ball at their own 16. Screen play to Mecole, who was brought down after getting about 6 yards. They're showing highlights here of the chess match between Mahomes and Dennis Allen. I think Mahomes is getting the better of that chess match so far. That much is safe to say. Handoff to Kareem Hunt up the middle. So again, two plays that keep the clock running for the Chiefs. Like I said, there's a chance that the Saints don't see the ball again until the fourth quarter. It is within the realm of possibility. I need Mahomes to get 8 more fantasy points. Really? Okay, one touchdown could do it. One touchdown and 4 points, get some rushing yards. It could happen. I just need it to happen, though. When's the last time Mahomes has had no passing yards? Hey, bro, you just tapped in for my camera to freeze. It's lit. Anyways, what's going on, King? I've been looking for you. You took a long nap. That makes sense. I have 100 questions to ask you, but bro, before saying any of that, how you been? How's your day been today? Did they get the first down here? Okay, you don't want to talk about it. Fair enough. We won't do that. We won't talk about the game itself, but talk about the weather, bro. We'll just stick to the weather. How was your experience when you first? For those of you guys who don't know, I'm talking to King, my guy King in the chat, Pittsburgh native, at the Steelers game yesterday. One of the weirder starts to a football game because it started about an hour and a half late. There were really no on-the-fly updates. They kind of just told us there's no update, and then all of a sudden told us that the game was going to start at 9:45. So nobody really knew what was going to happen. With the game starting late, I couldn't do a watch along because I had no. I frankly just had no. I couldn't stay up late enough to watch the end of the game with work on Monday. So yeah, that was my thing. I was like, we'll do Monday Night Football. We'll recap the whole week on Monday Night Football. But yeah, I knew my guy King was at the game, so I was wondering like, how does that go? Like when the game's delayed, you don't know when it's gonna start. What do you do? Do you just go to the concourse and get really drunk? Was it packed? What were the fans saying? I've never experienced anything like that, so I'm very curious about the experience. But if you don't want to talk about it, I understand. Mahomes takes a shot. He has Xavier Worthy. There's a pass interference. Finally, is that Paulson Adebo? Because Paulson Adebo is he's old one. Yeah, that's Paulson Adebo. It probably took a second time for them to finally call it, but yeah, he probably interfered once before without getting called. This time he's pretty clueless to what's going on. As a fantasy owner, yeah, it was packed at the concourse. Yeah, I can imagine, bro. I was probably pretty antsy too. Did you know that regardless of how long it was delayed, you were guaranteed to be able to stay the whole time? Like, was there? I'm wondering if there were people at the game that were like, "Shit, okay, if it gets delayed this long, then I can't watch the whole game because I have something to do in the morning or something like that." Because I can imagine if I was in that situation, I would be really frustrated. Okay, Mahomes, first down and 10 from the 15. Toss to Worthy. Worthy, not a lot of room, runs to the sideline. Gets shoved out of bounds by Lattimore. Again, the Saints are just a really stupid team when it comes to stuff like this. Really stupid team. Oh boy, NFL games in 2024, people. NFL games in 2024. Do you remember what AJ Brown did to him in 2022? Ooh, that touchdown was a thing of beauty. But yeah, this is the NFL going to NFL games in 2024, people. Ridiculous prices. I can tell you had some good seats though by that number, but still ridiculous prices. Screen to Mecole, who actually stays up for the first down. How's the game going? Okay, really interesting game from the standpoint of that Kansas City is playing like they're playing like a running team. They're not really like they're throwing the ball, but they're running the shit out of the ball. Like the time of possession in this game, I think it's right now. Right now, it's touching like what? Probably like 30-13. I don't even know if that's how many minutes have gone by. But yeah, no, the Chiefs are dominating the time of possession. Little pitch to Kelsey, which gets stood up at the 2. But yeah, no, time of possession is crazy for the Chiefs. They're running the ball. You were by the Cowboys bench. Did you do some heckling? Because when you're by the road team's bench, you're supposed to do some heckling. You're supposed to get under somebody's skin. Whose skin would I have got under? Oh, I feel like with the way Rico Dowdle was running, I think you could have got under Zeke's skin. I think that's probably a good candidate. Okay, there's no way Mahomes can escape this without a passing touchdown, right? Or like, because like Mahomes doesn't have a touchdown yet. That doesn't happen, right? Like usually they make sure he gets a touchdown. Yep, and talk to Cowboys fans. Makes sense. See, and that's the thing, Gail. I think anybody who has the ability to do so would do that. But there's somebody somewhere that had something really important to do at like 7 a.m., right? And they were actually in a time crunch of like, hey, if this gets pushed 2 hours, I don't think I can do it. I just think that would be such a horrible situation to be in. I'd be so anxious knowing I paid so much to be there. Imagine actually no, the fans that traveled would have nothing to do the next day. Okay, Mahomes, 2 backs in the backfield. P. Ryan goes into motion. This looks like a running play. Nope. Pass to Juju. Oh my God, it's a pick by a big man. Oh my God. Juju left it up. Kalen Saunders runs a pick back to the 40 because Juju threw up a lob like Chris Paul to DeAndre. Oh no, that really screwed things up from a fantasy standpoint. No. It just set in because I need Mahomes fantasy points. I wasn't thinking. I saw a defensive tackle get an interception and I got gassed. This is what it is, people. When a big man gets the football, you're supposed to get excited. These are just the rules. I don't make them, I just enforce them. Man, Juju's such a scrub, man. I hate that it had to be him in the Super Bowl. We love big man plays. We love big man plays. Oh, what the hell, man? Oh, Juju, that's a 6-point swing for my fantasy matchup because you catch that, that's 4 points for Mahomes. You do that, it's -2. Okay, ban Juju for that. Juju's canceled. No more Juju in this offense. Put Sky Moore on the field if you have to. Can you imagine if they were actually if this was actually a game they could lose? Can you imagine? Oh, man. Yes, King. I wanted the Steelers win. Yeah, as a community, we were all pulling for the Steelers because our guy was at the game. It just didn't work out, which is a shame. But yeah. Okay, let's get into some of the games. I think that game will be coming up. Cardinals Niners. Cardinals Niners. Takeaways here. I wonder. Okay, my question is: Purdy threw the pick at the end of the game that killed it, but I wonder how long of a field goal they were willing to kick with the punter because Moody got knocked out of the game with an ankle injury. He got knocked out of the game making a tackle, by the way. So that happened. You're down 1 at the end of the game. You're driving. There is a point in time where if you have to attempt a field goal with your punter, you will. Now the punter made a 26-yard kick. I just wonder what the situation like. Were they comfortable kicking from 40? Were they comfortable kicking from 50? Like, what was that number? I wonder if they asked Shanahan. But in terms of other things to make note of here, yeah, the Niners offense without McCaffrey is pretty similar to the Niners offense before McCaffrey. Like, yes, there's potential for big plays and big games and explosions and all those things, but there's also potential for, I think what we're seeing is that Christian McCaffrey was like a floor. He was he established a very high worst case scenario for the Niners, and that's gone because their worst case scenario now offensively is much lower than it was before. But we'll get back into that after this game is done. That's a crazy catch by a nose tackle as well, because he had to snag that with one hand to bring it into his body. Hell of a catch. He then had to run with it. He looked a lot more comfortable running than you'd expect. And then he had the ball high and tight. They tried to knock the ball out of his hands. He may run with the ball more securely than Tiki Barber, and he's a defensive tackle. He did not fumble, held it high and tight. Derek Carr wanted to take a deep shot, couldn't find it. Passes it to Shaheed, not quite a deep shot, but he runs for another 10 yards. There's a flag on the play. People are signaling that it might be against the Chiefs. God damn it, Mahomes. I need 8.2 points. Okay, I definitely need a Mahomes touchdown now. Like I'm not going to get 2, but 1 and some good yardage gets it done for me. A rushing touchdown gets it done for sure. But if I got that would have been game over in that matchup. God damn it, Mahomes. I need the Saints to score a touchdown to make scoring important for Kansas City. The Saints black helmets. Yeah, they look nice. I think they could probably come up with an alternate uniform with the black helmets that are better than what they have right now. Like, I'm talking an alternate home uniform. But yeah, I like what they're doing. Oh, it's definitely on Juju, and that's why it's so frustrating because like it's on the person that I hate. I'm not a fan of Juju Smith-Schuster. Who was it that really laid him out? Was it Vontez? No, somebody on the Bengals really got him. I forget who it was, but shout out to them. Oh, Von Bell. It was Von Bell that got him. Shout out to Von Bell. This is a Von Bell fan account. Dump off to Kamara, who takes 2 Chiefs to get him down. So Kamara's chain looks very snatchable. If somebody ever wanted that problem, that's very easy. The way he has it set up there, it's laying on like a white athletic turtleneck kind of a thing, standing out, very easy to just snatch. He's lucky that he doesn't have to play in the era of Aqib Talib. This is what I'm saying, King. You understood what I was saying. Big 3rd and 1 here. Well, for our sake, I think that pick did it kept the game intact when Chris Olave tried to ruin it. Because I think Joel put in the chat, and I agreed with him that Chris Olave killed the game. And Kalen Saunders put life back. So Kalen Saunders and Juju Smith-Schuster together put life back in the game. They Jon Snowed the game. A first down for Kamara on 3rd and 1, but there is a flag on the field. It looks like it's on Kansas City because the Saints players are advancing. Offsides on the defense. A free play that's a running play. That's frustrating. Offsides on Chris Jones. You don't see that often. So we got one play. What did Olave do? So before this Chiefs drive, the Chiefs were down 9. The Saints had the ball. At this point, the Chiefs had I think at the time of possession was like 25-10, and the Saints were in 3rd and 7. And he got the first. No, somebody else got the first down, but he did an illegal shift, and it was clearly his fault. Like, it wasn't an issue if the ball got snapped too early. He just didn't get set after going in motion. That put them in 3rd and 12. It canceled the first down that they got, and then on 3rd and 12, they took a sack and got knocked out of field goal range. So the swing is that if Olave doesn't take that penalty, the Saints get at least 3 points. They maybe get 7 points, but instead they get no points because of the penalty. And then I felt that the way the game was going, that was probably just going to end the game. And the Chiefs got all the way down to the 1, and it looked like it. It looked like that was going to be the end of the game. And then Kalen Saunders and Juju Smith-Schuster made it a game again. Okay. Point to make there. You see how Alvin Kamara was getting stood up and dragged backwards? Notice how no Chiefs defensive lineman tried to take his head off? Isn't it funny that when that situation happens for other teams, nobody tries to kill the guy? I just think it's funny that only ever happened to Devontae Smith. Hate the Saints for that game still to this day. Okay, football games to talk about this game. Um, Surprised with the Cardinals defense holding up. Not surprised that the Niners offense kind of struggled because, like I said, their floor is a lot lower. Any given day, they could show up and have a shaky offensive day without McCaffrey. Again, it's like their Niners offense before McCaffrey. He was a stabilizer and like a floor that increased their worst case scenario. So, not surprised that the Niners had this in them offensively. Kind of surprised that the Cardinals defense had enough to contribute to the Niners having their shortcomings offensively. Um, on the other side of the ball, I think it's fair to say that this Niners defense is not the Niners defense of old. There's a lot of contributing factors there. They've had a run of established defensive coordinators. You can start with a D'Amico Ryans, and then no, you could probably start with Robert Saleh to D'Amico Ryans to Steve Wilkes, who somehow got thrown under the bus. And now you got, I think they hired a random guy out of college, and the defense just doesn't quite look as good. That's one factor. The other factor is that their personnel. When you're as good as the Niners have been in the last few years, it's hard to keep hold of your personnel, and you have to prioritize certain guys. One of the guys they prioritized was Javon Hargrave, who had, obviously he's out now with an injury, but prior to that, his production had declined. They're at a point now where defensively, it's just the Nick Bosa show. They're a one-man wrecking crew along their defensive line. Dre Greenlaw is a big miss. The guy that they have in his place is solid at times, but also makes his mistakes. So in their front seven, they're reduced to two players now, Wagner and Nick Bosa. I do still think they have some strong personnel on the back end, but it just doesn't hit the same when your front seven isn't as good. Kind of a similar issue the Eagles are going through right now. So the Niners are not the same defensively. The level of coaching has dropped off. The level of talent has dropped off. So when you think about that team, that's, you have to factor in that their defense and their running game is not the same anymore. And if you think about football, and especially late season football, defense and running game, that's really important stuff. So expect the Niners to not be a force in the playoffs or the force at the end of the year anymore, because they're not built for playoff football as presently constructed. Giants Seahawks is next. We'll get to that after the at the next commercial break. First play of the fourth quarter is Kamara running for like 2-3 yards on first down. Oh man, the Chiefs are 1 for 5 in the red zone today. Oh, also, you guys did notice, because I was talking about how like they're not going to let Mahomes leave without a touchdown, right? Notice how they were forcing passes in the red zone. Carr finds Foster Moreau, and it's a 2-point game. Let's go. Let's go. All right, Mahomes, we need you to pass now. We need you to get some stats. It's a 2-point game. Massive play from the Saints defense at the goal line. What a play. So I think so here's the thing. When plays like this happen, right? I think the larger context of what happens around that really makes it really establishes how epic the play is. Whoa, they missed the extra point. Oh my God, New Orleans. You after all this, you missed the extra point. It's a 3-point game. Okay, I may have been speaking for me and everybody else in the chat. I think you don't count, but I'm just gonna go ahead and claim everybody else, all the other 6 people watching. But yeah, so what I was gonna say is so think about when the Eagles played, right, against the Falcons. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson had an amazing hit on Bijan on 4th down. I thought that was an amazing play and an amazing moment. But the larger context of the way we lost that game, to me, it kind of kills the moment. I don't really think about it the same. Similarly, Raptors against the Celtics in the bubble. OG made a great shot against Boston to win a game. It was an amazing moment. But the larger context of how we lost that series kind of kills the moment a little bit. This Saints turnover on the goal line, if they go on to win this game, that's an amazing moment. But if they lose the game, I think it kind of kills the moment. So do it for Kalen Saunders, do it so that he can have an amazing highlight that's looked back at really fondly. But yeah, we have another football game. Giants, Seahawks. So I kind of just talked about the Broncos a couple games ago and how they have departed from incompetence and kind of, I don't think they're a good team, but they are, a competent team now, and you can expect them to beat like teams that are a mess. I actually think the Giants have made their way into that territory as well. So let's look at the Giants games. Uh, Kind of get a feel for how they've got to being 2-3. Week 1, you got blown out by Minnesota. Minnesota went on to blow out Houston, and Minnesota is 5-0. Losing to Minnesota, it's not really a damning indictment. They then play a close game against Washington, who is proving to be a competitive team. Again, not a damning indictment. They then beat Cleveland. They then lose to Dallas in a close game. Where they did move the ball well. And this is a Dallas team that went on to, hate to bring this up, King, but continue to show that they're playing competitive football with a bunch of injuries. So it's not like Dallas is a bad team. I actually think that the Giants have done a good job this year so far, better than I expected. And like I said, I don't think like they were trash last year. I think they've graduated again from incompetence to competence. So hell of a coaching job by Dayball. Their personnel got a little bit better over the offseason, but I think mainly just I don't know if he ended up taking over play calling again, but I think he's done a really solid job. And who else? Oh yeah, the other side of this game was Seattle, which I will speak about at the next break. Chiefs start with the ball at like the 32. Up 3, 14 minutes to go. They've shown in this game that they can do a really good job of just killing the clock. We'll see what they can do on this drive. Obviously, last drive wasn't like many other drives before that because they got like a 40-yard pass interference from Paulson to Debo. But we'll see what they can do. The 2 drives before that, I think they did a great job of running the ball and killing the clock. Kareem Hunt finds a cutback lane, but he just can't hit it. He does not have the explosion that he had from year 1 and year 2. The Saints linebackers can get a hold of him about 2-3 yards past the line of scrimmage. Second and 6. Juju in motion. Mahomes, play action, takes a shot. He finds Juju, who has way too much space. How does Juju have this much space? 50 yards to Juju Smith-Schuster somehow. Please get a passing touchdown here, Mahomes. They're looking up at the screen. Mahomes is looking up at the screen as if there's a penalty or something. Oh, Matthew slipped? So it was clearly man coverage with pressure. That's why there was no numbers. And if the defense is bringing numbers in the blitz and it's man coverage on the back end, you just simply cannot slip. But where have we seen that before? Hilarious that happened to the Saints twice this year. Handoff to Kareem Hunt on first down, who actually finds 2 yards out of nothing. That play was horribly blocked up, but he did a great job there. So the Chiefs are in the red zone for the 6th time, but they've only left with 1 touchdown so far. See what they can dig up from their bag of tricks here. Because whatever they've dug up thus far has not worked. Handoff to Hunt, who just, Hunt's done a great job of running in this game. Again, not the explosive athlete that he once was. He looks hurt. But still a smart, instinctive runner who's just taking what's there. There is a flag on the play. And it looks like it's on... Yeah, I was going to say, it looks like it's on New Orleans because the defenders are backing up. Half the distance to the goal, offensive or automatic first down. Holding on a defensive lineman. How often do you see that, people? How often do you see that? So what, first and goal from like the 4 now, I think. They haven't shown it yet. But I think that's where it'll be. Kareem Hunt's out of the game. So I do think that they're passing this ball for sure. Oh, no, it's a trick play. No. No. Dog. This man, Andy Reid, will not. He said, you know what? We're taking the ball right out of Mahomes' hands. No touchdowns for Mahomes, man. 6 trips to the red zone. No touchdowns for Mahomes. The fantasy gods are not on my side this week. I'm only in 2 leagues. Somebody hung 150 on me, and then this other guy that I'm about to lose to, I think he got like 130, which I could have caught up to if Mahomes just got me my 19. He actually said, fuck my fantasy team. 6 trips to the red zone. If you told me at 8:15 today that Mahomes is going to see the red zone 6 times, I would have bet the house on me winning. I would have bet the house on me winning this matchup. Andy Reid hates me, man. That much is simple. Andy Reid just cannot stand me. All right. Well, other side of this game, I already talked about the Giants. The Seahawks side of things. At 3-0, I talked about them being pretty overrated because I actually think the 3 wins were pretty ugly. I think at the time, I think I was a little bit harsher on Denver that I've grown than like I am now. But I think winning a close game against Denver is not that impressive. Beating the Patriots in overtime is not impressive. And then I think then they beat Skylar Thompson. They beat Skylar Thompson by 3 touchdowns. That's not impressive either. So I thought that they had a very easy route to 3-0. And after that, where are they? Oh, yeah, 2 losses in a row. I actually think their best game in terms of a performance was the game against Detroit. So, yeah, Skylar Thompson and Tim Boyle. So they played a pretty good game against Detroit. It was competitive. But, yeah, that was obviously a loss. And then this game, I think losing to the Giants at home is a horrible game. So, Seattle has, I think, had a pretty unimpressive first 5 games. Let me see what their schedule is looking like because thinks it could be bad. It could be bad for them if they play good teams because I don't think that they've had a good start to the year so far. Oh yeah, they play San Fran, Atlanta, Buffalo, the Rams. The Rams, if they're healthy at that time, I see Seattle 2-2 at best down the stretch here. But yeah, disappointing week for Seattle. Disappointing season for Seattle so far. Packers, Rams. So, I think the Rams are actually going to be a good team when they get healthy. I think they showed last year that their coaching is pretty high level. And then they got a little bit better on paper over the offseason, but then they got crazy injuries. But you see that they're a competitive team without their best players. Jordan Love literally gave them 7 points, so that helps with this scoreline for sure. But, they still were kind of going toe-to-toe with Green Bay for the most part, again, without 2 offensive tackles and 2 receivers. So I think the Rams are going to be good when they finally get healthy. We'll see if they get enough wins to still be in the picture when that happens. But the Rams are in a good place. On the other side of things, the Packers, again, that interception from Jordan Love was ridiculous. Obviously an accident, but it's a kind of haphazardness that you only see from the likes of Carson Wentz and Jordan Love, who, are not seen as great quarterbacks. That being said, I think Jordan Love has enough credit in the bank for you to know that that's not something he's going to make a habit out of. It was just one really bad moment. And in a game that ended up being a 1-score game, had they lost a game where you just handed the other team 7 points, probably would have been a bigger talking point. As far as the Packers outside of that one play, I think as Xavier McKinney has a pick in every single game, that has to go down as like one of the better free agency signings this offseason. When you sign a guy who gets a pick in every single game. And I think he recovered a fumble as well. So, unreal stuff from him. The defense, again, I think a big talking point for the Packers was the fact that they switched up their defensive coordinator. I think he has them playing again. Like last year, they were kind of an incompetent defense, I feel, in the grand scheme of things. Um, they made the playoffs. They hung around in playoff games, but I think a lot of Packers fans wanted a guy fired who won a playoff game for a reason. And I do think that this new guy has established a base level of competence that is a good thing for the Packers. And when it comes to the offensive side of the ball, Jaden Reed is really really good. They played this game without Romeo Dobbs, who had a disciplinary issue, I think. But that being said, I don't think Romeo Dobbs is really the receiver you should be scared of. Um, I think Jaden Reed is really explosive. Tucker Kraft had the long touchdown. I do find it interesting that I think he looks like he's better than Musgrave, even though Musgrave was a higher draft pick. But when you make two draft picks at one position, that's kind of what you establish. Like you have basically two lottery tickets now at figuring that position out. Um, and then I think the last thing I'll say is that interception aside, I think Jordan Love is still kind of getting back into the rhythm getting back into his rhythm after coming back from the knee injury. Not to say that he's not 100% healthy, but even somebody who is 100% healthy that's coming back from missed time does need some time to get back to being themselves. And I don't think Jordan Love, we've seen that from Love yet. His play against Minnesota and his play against the Rams, I don't think it's indicative of the kind of player he is. I think he has a higher level that he will get to. But from the Packers standpoint, you are 1-1 while Jordan Love kind of hasn't looked himself. So it's an encouraging sign because when he does get back to looking himself, you have, obviously a better chance at winning games. So they're in a really tough division. So these wins are important. And I really look forward to seeing the matchups between those three teams. So anytime Detroit, Minnesota, or Green Bay play each other, I think it's definitely must-see TV. And we only have one last game left, Cowboys Steelers. We'll get to that at the next break. Saints are on 2nd and 12. Need points to keep this game alive. Check down to Kamara for 3 yards. Gets them into 3rd and 9. Probably the edge of field goal range. But your kicker just missed an extra point. So I'm sure you're not thrilled at the idea of making him kick a 60-yarder. They are actually at the 42, so this kick would be a 60-yarder if they kick from here. Big 3rd down play, 3rd and 8, empty formation. Chiefs bring pressure. Carr airs it out. He has Shaheed, and the coverage is solid. Shaheed does a really bad job of tracking the ball here. Doesn't really make a play to get under the ball and get in position to catch that. I don't know if he lost the ball. Or I don't know if he's just really slow to react, but until the very last second, he just makes no movement towards the ball. Badly placed ball from Derek Carr there. Again, made it really difficult for the receiver. So all around, a really horrible execution there on a crucial 3rd down. It's 4th and 8, and because of how long of a kick it is, they're going for it on 4th and 8. The play clock ran out. They didn't look close to snapping the ball, so they're going to burn a timeout here as well. Oh my God, the Saints are only going to have one timeout left. Yeah, this game's, I don't care what happens. The game is done. The Saints only have one timeout in a game where they're down 10 against this team, where if they have any hope it's going to be in a close game, no chance. No chance. So yeah, people, Chiefs 5-0 is on the way. Chiefs 5-0 is on the way. So they're lining up for 4th and 8 again. Derek Carr drops back. They bring the pressure. He airs it out for, oh my God, Tipton. So here's the thing, right? Look at how hard of a job. So Tipton doesn't catch it. It is what it is. But look at how hard of a job he has to track that ball and how good of a job he did. Did he bring it down? No. But he actually tracked that ball amazingly. Ultimately, though, catching a ball like this is just really, really hard. So he didn't come down with the ball, but he had to adjust to it. The adjustment was hard because he had to literally look, like he had to turn his head and look for the ball upside down. He did it. He just couldn't come down with the ball. Rashid Shaheed had a much easier opportunity to track the ball and make a play, and he didn't do it. That was really bad from Shaheed on 3rd down. Awesome play there by Spagnuolo, or awesome idea to bring the house there. I love that situation on 4th downs, 4th and long. You know, a lot of the times teams look at that and they think, oh, be conservative. You only need to, it's 4th and 10. You just have to make sure they don't get any more than 9 yards. No, I love on a play where it's a must-have-it play, and the offense needs the play to develop down the field. I love heating the quarterback up. They did it there for what it's worth. Great ball by Carr. Not great ball, good ball, because he forced the receiver to have to make a crazy adjustment, and it wasn't a particularly great receiver. It's Tipton. I don't even know who that guy is. But yeah, good ball from Carr, gave his receiver a shot. Unfortunately, the guy who did 90% of his job perfectly couldn't do the last 10%. And yeah, this game is basically over at this point. But yeah, great play call by Spagnuolo. And this is why he has all these Super Bowls, people. Man, if only Olave didn't have that illegal motion or illegal shift. Yeah, this is illegal shift. If only Tipton caught that, we could have had a competitive game. But now me, the person that needs Mahomes fantasy points, is going to have to lie to myself and act like there's still a chance. When I know, honestly, the Chiefs are probably just going to run the ball out here. But shout out to everybody still watching. 10 of you guys watching live. Make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Two very important forms of engagement for the growth of a YouTube channel. On the road to 150 subscribers. Hopefully we hit that soon. It's been a great time here, people. We've recapped a bunch of football. There's only one game left to recap. Let's get this BS over with. Okay. Cowboys, Steelers. So what I mentioned before the game was that with the Cowboys injuries, I thought the Steelers were in a really good position for this game. And I felt like the Steelers should have won this game easily. That was my thoughts before the game. Having watched the game, 1st and 10 here, this game is back, but I'm not particularly inclined to talking about it. Having watched the game, my big takeaway was disappointed with everything that Pittsburgh did. Defensively, I thought they should have had a better day. Offensively, you basically played against a team without a pass rush, and you still really couldn't move the ball. Justin Fields, I think, really opened up the window for Russell Wilson to play football this past game against Dallas. I think prior to Dallas, a lot of people thought that it looked like he was running away with the job. Well, he stopped running. He came to a full standstill. He did the mannequin challenge. That's not happening anymore. I think Russell Wilson will definitely touch the field at some point. And yeah, that's just going to be that. Defensively, look, Dallas turned to Rico Dowdle, who had a career day against Pittsburgh. Who would have thought? I thought Pittsburgh's defense was looking really good to start the year. But if Rico Dowdle is having his career day, welcome to the NFL moment against you, like that's a damning indictment. The Cowboys were missing one of their starting receivers, and Dak Prescott threw a touchdown to one of the backup receivers in clutch time. I think it was a really poor day for Pittsburgh. From Dallas' standpoint, I think a lot of people were very critical of the Cowboys people were kind of writing them off. I think they kind of did their part to shut some of those people up. I think again, there's fair amount of people even in this chat were like, okay, you know what, that team's not making the playoffs. But I think all those injuries to go into a tough place to play, really weird, wacky scenario with the weather, to go get a win, it's a good performance from Dallas. You definitely take that. Kansas City is stuffed. Alontae Taylor smacks Kareem Hunt. Now it's third down for Kansas City. Saints hoping to get the ball back. These next 3 games for us are make it or break it moments. Let's see the next 3 games. Let's see the schedule. Raiders, Jets, Giants. Oh, god damn. You guys should run the table. You guys should get 3 wins in a row going into the bye week. What are you guys, 3-2? Yeah, you guys should still be 6-2. Key word there is should. Right? We'll see what happens. But I think you guys probably get all 3 of those wins. Mahomes looks around, doesn't like any of his options, wants to run, not really. Oh my God, he made some guys run into each other. Dives for the first down on 3rd and 9. Magician stuff from Mahomes right there. Oh my God. That, what's crazy? That looked like, that guy's Patrick Mahomes, right? But he just made like a Johnny Manziel-like play. Yeah, this was some Johnny football stuff I just saw. God damn it, Patrick. People think they have a chance to win a Super Bowl this year. But now because we let them damn Ravens be in first. Yep. Man, things change quickly. Things sometimes do in fact change quickly. Wait, they marked him short. It's 4th and 1? Wait. That's crazy. Are they challenging it? God damn. Okay, we're going to preview games for this upcoming week on Thursday, so I can't really get into too deep into my week 6 bag. But just quick thoughts. Niners favorites by 3 in Seattle. I think that game should be closer to a toss-up. Niners on the road in a short week. On the road on a short week is always a tough situation. I don't care who you are. And as is, the Niners haven't really shown that much. He got the first down easily, I think. Eagles 8.5 point favorites against Cleveland. I feel like somehow, some way, the Eagles are going to find a way to make that more interesting than it needs to be. But at the same time, probably, no. Cleveland is bad enough to make the Eagles look good. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Bears, Jaguars in London. Who's going to get up for that? Bears 2.5 point favorites on a neutral ground. Yeah, there's no way this Jaguars team wins 2 games in a row. Bears going to go to 4-2. Bucks against Saints. Saints are going into that game will have lost 3 in a row, right? Yeah, I think the Saints win that game at home. I think Bucks Saints is a W for the Saints. Brings both teams to 3-3. Yeah, that seems just about right in that division. Oh, but the Bucks came off a really bad loss. Damn. Okay, somebody's going to be depressed after that game. Loser of Saints Buccaneers. That fan base will be very sad. Because if the Bucks go from 3-1 to losing 2 games against their division rivals, that'll be really bad. Cardinals, Packers. If Jordan Love shows up and plays good football, that matchup should be fairly simple and ordinary. Wait, how many more points do I need from Mahomes? Because he got the 50 yards to Juju and then like 8 yards running there. Oh, word. I need what? I need 4.8. So I basically need a touchdown. Come on, Mahomes. This is the last drive. If he doesn't get it here, he's not getting it. Also, here's my hot take. I think it's time for Rodgers to let it go. I agree. It hasn't looked good this year so far. And I don't think there's much scope for it to look better. I think this is who he is at best. And Even if you say that, okay, you know what, he still has a chance, not on the Jets. When Brady went to Tampa, he had Godwin and Evans and Leonard Fournette and no, he had way more than this. The Jets need Devontae Adams in the worst way, and I think they might. And the problem is they traded a third-round pick for a guy who hasn't shown up yet. But they need Devontae Adams in the worst way, and they can't trade for another guy that wants to get paid. Oh my God, poor Jets. Yeah, they can't even trade for the guy that they need that wants to join them. Handoff to Kareem Hunt. 3 yards. Second and 6. So I guess it's 4 yards. Colts, Titans. Colts 1-point road favorites. What did the Titans are off a bye week 1-3 off their first win against Miami? I definitely think the Colts take that one. Houston in New England. Also, Saturday was some of the best football I've ever seen in college. Yeah, upsets. So many upsets. Pass to Mecole on a wide receiver screen. Mecole finds some space. All right, we're getting close. We're getting close. I think I need about 4.3 from Mahomes now. So that's what? Like 9 yards and a touchdown? Well, we're at the 15, so I don't have many rushing yards to spare here. Back. Okay. Come on, Mahomes. Throw a touchdown right here. Hands off to Hunt. Damn it. Okay. He chewed up about 4 of these yards. Come on. I need Mahomes to throw it from here. So I need how many? No, I need 4.2. Which is 0.2 is 5 yards. I need 5 yards and a touchdown from Mahomes. He's at the 12-yard line. It's 5 yards. I lied. It's not 9. It's 5 yards and a touchdown. Handoff to Hunt. Damn, these handoffs are going to kill me. Oh, there's a flag. Let this be holding on Kansas City. If this is something on the Saints, it's bad news for me. Let this be holding on Kansas City. It looks like the Chiefs players are walking backwards. Wait, what was the history that Dak made? I missed that. What did he do? Oh, the cherry pick stat. Go ahead touchdowns in the fourth quarter on 15 play drives. He's the first quarterback to do 2. I saw that. That's a LeBron stat if I've ever seen one. Let's go. Let's go. Kansas City gave me room to get my yards. Man, shout out Creed Humphrey, man. He knows what's needed. He knows my guy Creed Humphrey understood the assignment. Oh, I didn't even know this was the stat you're talking about. This is so funny. This is so funny. I can't believe that. Okay, Mahomes. Oh no. Scrambles. Oh no. Oh, he took a sack. At least there's no negative points there. But bro, it's 3rd and 20. He's not going to score the touchdown. I played myself. Why did I celebrate that holding penalty? I played myself so hard. Now I need a holding. I need a defensive holding. 5 yards, automatic first down. Come on. Even it out, referees. Even it out. Man, I'm really processing things in real time. 3rd and 20. God damn. Oh, they're going to throw like a screenplay to somebody too. It's no chance of them scoring here. Hand off to Kareem Hunt. Don't kill me. What is life? This is painful stuff, people. It got so close. Wait, This is a red zone trip, right? 7 red zone trips, no touchdown for Mahomes. What were the odds? What were the goddamn odds? I just needed one. I simply just needed one touchdown from Mahomes. And he got none in 7 red zone trips. What type of black magic is this? Oh, yo, I took it out. I'm taking it out the oven right now. It's cooked. You know what's messed up too? You guys don't even know this league. This league is a dynasty league where I've been leading the league in scoring for like 5 years, but I haven't won before. Like I've never won the league, but I do crazy numbers. So it's just like this. The story of me in this dynasty league is just this type of heartbreak. Has that ever happened before? I don't know, but also I don't know what the Saints do. Like they're from because the Bayou area, again, I'm Canadian. I don't know these things that well, but they're known for like that type of stuff, like voodoo and black magic, right? I'm not off about that, right? The Saints did some type of black magic for Mahomes. This pick at the goal line is evidence. Tell me that Kalen Saunders gets an interception off the fingertips of Juju Smith-Schuster. Any other, like, find any other way to explain that. Black magic is the only explanation. The Bayou, yep. See, I know my America a little bit. 100% they did some black magic. You heard it here first, people. Greg Williams was not the only funny business that happened in the Saints organization. $13-point game. What would have to happen? Okay, I think the Saints might have to run this kickback for me to have hope. Actually, no, because then, oh yeah, the Saints have no timeouts because they're idiots. So if the Chiefs ever see the ball, they're just kneeling it down. Nasty work. You know, my only chance is if Derek Carr throws a pick and the Chiefs guy who runs it back to like the 1. Anyways, we get Jets and Bills on Monday Night Football. That should be a good matchup. Nah, but King, even if it's a quick turnover, they'll just run it for 1 first down and take knees. What type of nonsense? Oh my God. I'm not actually hurt, but like I'm fake hurt. Like I'm just a dramatic kind of hurt. Oh, the Sunday night game next week is Bengals Giants. To hell with that game. Oh my God. No. Bills Jets, guys. Monday Night Football will be the watch along next week. I do not have it in me to watch Giants Bengals. I want better for myself in life. I want my standards to be higher when it comes to how I spend my time. Oh, Jake Hayner is in the game. Did Derek Carr get hurt? This is one of the dweebiest looking quarterbacks I've ever seen. He looks like he should be a quarterback's coach, not necessarily a quarterback. But the battle of mid, that's not the battle of mid, that's those two terrible teams, bro. That's 2 cheeks of the same ass. That's not the battle of mid. Juwan Johnson out here getting smacked around down 13 in garbage time, man. It could never be me. That could never be me. Quietly, this game is the battle of mid. The Saints against the Black Magic affected Chiefs is actually the battle of mid. You know what though, King? So on Sunday, I'll be doing a watch along on my NBA channel for Raptors Celtics preseason. Yes, I'm a sicko like that. Yes, I do watch alongs for my team in preseason. But yeah, I'll be doing a watch along at 7 o'clock from like 7 to 9:30. So if you want to hang out and come chill with me, you can still chill with me on Sunday night. But it will not be for Giants Bengals. Again, want to have higher ambitions and aspirations in life than to watch Bengals and Giants. Hayner rolls right, 2nd and 10. Oh my God, he's so slow. But yeah, if anybody here wants to find that channel, it's connected to this one. So if you go to In Motion Football, at some point there's a thing of like connected channels or something. Toronto Hoop Talk, which is the name of my basketball channel, is connected to In Motion Football. I'm trying to see where would a person have to go to find it. Yeah, you scroll to the very bottom. I don't know if you can see, but this is the channel. Scroll. Whoa, what the hell? What? Scroll to the very bottom, and then you see right there, Toronto Hoop Talk, red logo. So yeah, I'll give you the football updates. Hell yeah. Okay, bet. We'll do that. The freaking Bengals, man. 2nd and 10. Last play before the 2-minute warning. But yeah, people, shout out to everybody that watched this. Just under 3 hours in, we've had 157 people drop by in a live stream. I like to consider that a successful live stream. Appreciate everybody who tapped in. I appreciate the first time viewers and the last time viewers. If you watched this live stream for a few seconds and closed it and said, I'm never, ever going to watch this guy ever again, I still appreciate you for that initial click. But yeah, it was a great time. Hope you guys had as much fun as I had doing this live stream. We'll be back tomorrow for playoff landscaping, where we do some landscaping and we sort through the playoff landscape and see, who's where and what it looks like for every team. For those of you guys who aren't familiar, I look at that as like a weekly stock watch for every single team. What do I think about their playoff chances? Do I feel confident about them? Do I feel confident about them not making it? Do I think they're going to make it? Do I think they're kind of just in the mix? We place every team in one category or another. So that's tomorrow. Then we have the Thursday Night Football, Watchalong, and Week 6 previews on Thursday. And then we have the Monday Night Football and we Watchalong and Week 6 recaps on Monday. So yeah, sorry. Thursday Night Football and Monday Night Football. No Sunday Night Football, which is the staple on this. Let me grab my shovel. 2 minutes left. Let me grab my shovel. Yeah, no, it's done. But yeah, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so you guys don't miss when we go live. Make sure you guys like the video on your way out. I'm gonna end this as soon as they get this under the 2-minute warning, because I don't have it in me to watch the end of this game. It's been a long day. But yeah, I'll be back tomorrow, Thursday, and Monday. Look forward to seeing all you guys there. Again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, make sure you do so. We're on the road to 200 subscribers. Hope we can get there at some point during the regular season. That would be a great accomplishment. And yeah. Just going to wait for this last play to run, on the off chance that something crazy happens. I wonder if that'll ever happen to me, that I end a watch along, like, and then something crazy happens. I kind of don't want to do it for that reason. Like, it doesn't hurt me to stay here for like another 5 minutes, but because it would really mess things up so badly if I had to end a watch along and then restart another stream to keep watching a game, because there's no way you almost did Thursday. I really almost did. I would have felt like complete shit if I ended that stream early, the way it ended. And if anything, that taught me a lesson. So I'm never gonna do, like, I'm gonna have to always stick around. Cause you can, yeah, like I said, you have to start another stream. It would be disorganized. What the hell would you name it? Watch along part 2? Watch along post my bad mistake? No, it'd be stupid. 3rd and 8. Jake Hayner, quietly the same size as Bryce Young. Sidearms an inaccurate pass to Kamara. It is 4th and 8. And a failure to get 8 yards here is surely the end of the game, because the Saints have no timeouts because they used them all already. The last time there was a crazy ending was the Falcons-Cowboys offside kick Whoa, hold on. I'm tripping. I completely don't remember this game. What happened? Falcons Cowboys offside kick in 2022. Why does that not ring a bell at all? Why? What the hell? Hayner, 4th and 8, slings it to Olave, who drops the ball, and this game is over, people. Atlanta did Atlanta things and choked a big lead. Still, okay, see, the thing is that's so typical that you saying that it didn't make me think of one thing. It made me think of like 50 different games. I think it was 2021 when the Cowboys had that crazy comeback. Okay, but what was the offside kick thing? Like, specifically, what happened with that? Did they kick it, get the onside kick, but a man was offside, so it got canceled or something? This was during that stretch when Atlanta was choking games. Bro, that's their whole organization's history. The stretch is literally like the last 40 years. Doesn't help at all. That doesn't help in the slightest with that franchise. What the hell are we talking about? Oh, and the cherry on top is Mahomes is going to get negative rushing yards here to piss me off even more. Dallas kicked it and got it back. Oh, that kind of seems familiar. I'm going to look up these highlights after this game. But anyways, people, much appreciated that you're still here. Hope to see you guys again tomorrow and Thursday and Monday. Hope all your teams win in week 6, unless you're a Browns fan for some reason. I don't know why you would subject yourself to that, but I know that there are some masochists that are Browns fans. So again, I appreciate you guys. Hope your team loses on Sunday. And we'll talk all about it on Monday. See you guys then. You guys have a good night and a good week. And I'll catch you guys around.